What is up, my ninjas? What's up, my ninjas? Welcome to the show. Thank you guys so much for watching and being here. Today, I just got back from a trip in London. So you're actually going to get a Church Street interview tomorrow. That's from London. So that's kind of exciting. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching and supporting me as always. I'm a little slow today. Forgive me. I'm a little bit jet lagged. I passed out for like 3 hours today in the middle of the day and felt like a total bum. Won't even lie to you. Audacity Network. All right. So I'm going to, on today's agenda, we're going to go over my drama with, I guess, me and Elijah Schaefer kind of beefing. You know, we'll talk about that. Then we're going to talk about, how white people are really tired of black people's shit. We're tired of it. We're done. We are done. Our kindness has been abused. No music today because I'm just kind of tired. I don't feel like it, but probably later this week. So anyways. Doug MPA and I were having a phone call and I was like, we should just go live. We should just continue this call, go live. I'm feeling kind of chopped today. I was like, do I want to be on camera? I don't know. Should I just... Oh, okay. Also, go to the audacitynetwork.com, everybody. We have completed the switch over. And I would love to get you guys' feedback on this website that we made. We created this basically so people can donate and not have to be like on a monthly membership. It also has all of so here you can be anybody that was on the old website. You'll forgive me. I know I said a free year. It took us more than a year to switch websites. But anybody that was on the old website, you get access to the new website. So you can donate. We're still, you know, fixing a couple kinks, but you can join the newsletter, right? All of my old content is on here. We're going to do, extra content at some point. So, you know, we'll see. I'm going to have a blog. So I haven't written the blog yet, but I'm going to do a blog about how I came into this red pill content. So completely self-centered stories just from my life. So if you're interested in learning more, right now it's free. So anybody can join. Go to theaudacitynetwork.com. Anybody that was on the old site, it's free. At some point, we're going to offer a paywall, but that's, you know, just how it is. Then when we do events, the Discord's on here. Again, there's going to be some, the projects are going to be here. It's the first week, so forgive me, but feel free to click through. And if you guys have any, you know, feedback on it, Doug MPA has really been ahead of this project, really putting a lot of work into this. So this has taken us probably like 6 months to get this out. But I'm really proud of everyone involved. And then what that did for anybody that cares, I don't know if anyone cares, but is the issue is the old sites. We had these like crazy storage and like maintenance costs. They just kept yanking up the prices. And we're like, okay, we just got to do our own thing here. So anyways, feel free to look at that. Doug MPA, welcome to the show.
Hey, how's it going, my friend?
Good. Is there anything you want to tell them about the website?
So if you were at any time a paying member on the old site, will you bring up the site?
Yeah.
Share your screen. Okay. So what you want to do is click login.
Login.
And then type in your email address associated with the old site and hit forget password. Because we already have you set up with your email, and if you hit forgot password, it'll get you a verification link to set a password. So if you were at any time a paying member on the old website, we want to show our appreciation for carrying the Audacity Network and Pearl, the best person on YouTube, through demonetization in some of the darkest times. So once again, if you were ever a paying member on the old site and your email was attached there, go to log in on the new site, put your email address there, hit forgot password, a verification link will be sent there. And once you hit that verification link and set your password, you will have your membership. Yes, and Doug does have a speech impediment.
Guys, obviously, what was the point of that question?
Anyway, yeah.
Like, it's like, I'm gonna roast this guy a little bit. Sorry, John. It's your day. It's like, what was the point of that? It's like, like they do that with me at times where they talk about a flaw that's very like, why are you a woman? Why are we bringing this up?
My whole life. But yeah,
like, anyway. Pearl, do you have kids? Obviously not. I get it. All right, I get it. Obviously not.
Yep. So yeah, so click around there. We have a bunch of our old content on there, but it's mainly. And then do me a favor. We get it one more time.
Oh yeah. Here. Also, guys, I'm gonna apologize to you for the street interview. That's coming out this weekend. It was horrendous. My camera skills. We all got to start somewhere. I'm relearning this equipment, so forgive me.
Click on donate.
Okay. Donate. Yeah.
So scroll down. So a lot of you say, what's the best way to support Pearl? This donation spot is the best way to do it. This goes right to Pearl. YouTube doesn't take a cut. Nobody takes a cut. You can make a one-time donation. You can set up a monthly donation. You could do. You can sign up for a free membership tier, whatever you want to do. So this donate tab on the new website is the best way to support the Audacity Network and your favorite Pearl on YouTube. Go to this donation link, pick a dollar amount, and donate to the cause.
Yeah, and we're going to have projects, and we're going to find a way. I mean, we're still getting the kinks ironed out, but we're going to let you guys know where your money is going. So like the next documentary is What's in It for Men Military Edition. So we're going to be producing and so you can donate directly to that project, or there's another one. Like, we want to make this an app at some point. We have to make an app. So that's that we want, but it costs money, and this also costs money. So so anyways, we don't have that up yet. Forgive me. The site is still new. So we're ironing everything out, but I think it's pretty good. And the bottom, it has the show, so you can go to my whiteboards. Look at that. So, okay. Glad you came to England. We missed. All right, let's start with talking about how white people are sick of black people shit.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah,
we're a black person.
You know what? It's just crazy, like watching white people's goodwill disappear over the last decade, including mine. You remember when I was like, "Black people, come into my penthouse, right this way. Come on, we'll hang out. We'll be friends." MTR, you can come on my show. We'll be friends. Oh my god, yeah. You want food from? Here's food. Here's alcohol. Eat my food. Drink my liquor, and then go leave and make videos about me and throw me under the bus the second black people give you any type of pressure. That's some ninja shit. We are so done. We are so done. You know what's crazy? When that whole thing happened, I did not see it coming, like, at all. Like, I never thought in a million years MTR or Sarah would throw me under the bus for money. And that was one of the most blackpilling experience of my life. Like,
I remember.
Like, just, I was so sad because I was like, I felt like I went so far to help these people. And I'm like, and just be polite and great, like, show goodwill. Just for the second they were under any sort of pressure. MTR made so many videos about me. Like, it was actually ridiculous. Like, it was like one after the other, just like editing me out of context, like just some ridiculous shit.
Yeah, I remember because you called me after He Who Shall Not Be Named's video came out, and we had a conversation. You know, I'm not gonna say what was said, but I remember how hurt you were when that happened. I
Dude, I was
remember
so hurt.
we had a couple conversations about it.
I was so hurt. I'm like, thank you, black people. I wasn't racist. I swear to God, I never saw color till you guys made me. Yeah.
And here's the thing. So what they don't tell you is that I think that the only people that have more black fatigue than white people are black people that don't do the foolishness. Because I've had black fatigue my whole life, dude. You know, there are black people and there are ninjas, and there's just a ninja epidemic, like way too many of them. So, yeah, there isn't any frustration that you have that I don't know that most of us successful, ambitious, competitive black people haven't had our entire experience in this country.
Tell me your first experience with black fatigue.
Um, honestly, so I grew up in a predominantly white neighborhood. My parents are both medical professionals, and you know, I grew up in a neighborhood where people. One of the best parts about white people is white people they want to live certain places, they pay to live places, and they expect and they enforce a certain type of experience for their family and their children. Understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so there were only a couple of other black families in my neighborhood, and there were only, I think there were 40 black kids at my school of 2000, and there was always too many that were just showing their ass, knowing for a fact that we're in this neighborhood. There's supposed to be stability, structure. You know, everyone is supposed to be obeying the law. You know, and you just have those couple that just kept showing their ass. It's the worst, absolute worst, and all they're doing is making people like me look bad. It's funny because Pearl and I, we always have a joke. I say, "Man, it must be really hard to be a woman sometimes," and she says, "It's probably about as hard as it's for you being black sometimes." I'm like, "That's 100% true."
It's just kind of crazy because it's like, we are the most pro-white channel as a woman that dates black and Dominican men. And a black guy that really, I think in your heart of hearts, prefers nerdy black girls.
I can't quit him.
This is, I know, it's like we can't tame them. But like, can we just keep it a buck? It's like, this is the most pro-white channel, I think, on YouTube. I don't think there's any more pro. It's like, you know, it's almost like it's like Batman. We didn't want to do it, but Gotham's burning.
Exactly. Yep.
We're like, Gotham is burning. Somebody's got to say it. White men, we want to work for you. We want to be under your laws. We want to live in your communities. White men, we like, you know how I feel like what's happening with white guys? It's kind of like, you know, the woman that divorces her husband and then goes out on her own and just sees that life is terrible without her husband. All these things that he did for her.
Yep.
That like she just didn't appreciate, you know, correcting her, helping her with her, you know, all this stuff. So the woman leaves. And I think that's what society did with white men, is that we demonized them and then said we didn't need them. And the white men, because here's the thing about white guys, like it's so funny because they say they're these power hungry people. And in my experience, they're actually not at all. Like they care the least about credit. They care the least about titles and all. Like they don't care. They just want to get the job done. Yep. So they'll get the job done, give you credit. They do not care. And honestly, they also, I don't know how to put it. Like they don't even want to be in charge. They just do it because they're the most competent. Do you know what I mean? Like it's almost like they have to do it, you know, because no, I don't know how to put it. Like it's like when they get in charge, like when they get in charge of these companies, it's just because they problem solve. Like it's not because they wanted to be the CEO and like in charge of all these people, especially because my dad's a CEO and just knowing men like him. It's just because they're so competent. Everyone comes to them to solve their problems, and then all of a sudden they're in charge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not. I don't think my dad sought out to have like a giant software company. It was just like, okay, the next step is hiring another person, you know.
And that's one of the reasons why there's so many industries where that's why like 77% of the nonprofit industry is women, because women are more concerned with title and credit than they are money and effort. So you can fool a lot of, one of the reasons why there's a pay gap is a pay gap because women will take a position where there's a big title, but not a lot of money. Understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, and also, there's so many parallels with the black community and white women. White liberal women are handing this country over, and eventually, white men and conservatives are going to have to fix everything. It's the same thing with black people. Black people ostracize our best and brightest, call them nerds and lames and dweebs and stuff like that. But then when they get a highly valued skill, education, or trade, they expect that the black person that they made fun of, bullied, to give back to the community for pennies on the dollar or for free.
Yeah, it's like
there's so many parallels. Go ahead.
No, I'm just thinking it's like, fuck you. Like,
yep.
No, and that's I think society, we're just to the point where we've like white people have said, okay, black people be in charge. Women, black people, be in charge. Go ahead. And we're all watching in real time women and black people just destroy society. And that's like the last 10 years of Black Lives Matter, where, you know, white people, they say, oh, you don't like the police? You think they're bad to you? Body cams, that's fine. We got nothing to hide. And now all the body cams are coming out, and we're like, black people, we should put more black people in jail. They're like, we should lock them all up,
That brings us as to why I wanted to have this conversation. So you guys, unless you guys have been living under a rock, you guys know that Carmelo Anthony was sentenced to 35 years in prison for deleting Austin Metcalf in Frisco, Texas. And let me start off, guys. I'm black. I've been black for over 40 years, and I can tell you, I don't know what this kid was thinking. You're going to show up to a football game armed with a knife. As soon as he whipped out that knife, he decided his life wasn't his worth living anymore. Now, my father taught me that your actions have consequences. And take that extra second to really think about, is what you're about to do worth your life? Now, don't get me wrong. If I were married and had kids, I would kill for that. But guys, when you have stuff to lose, even when you're young, a lot of times you got to walk away. You got to swallow your ego, swallow your pride. Because one of the biggest problems with the black community, it's about respect. You know, he disrespected me. Now you're going to go to prison for 35 years because he disrespected you. It's not worth it, guys. And there was a time, speaking about body cam footage, when I was young, my mom and dad taught me, if you get pulled over, take your wallet, your keys, license, registration, put it on the dashboard, roll down your window, and keep your hands at 10 and 2 so the police can see them. And that was holistically all throughout life. There are too many of us that give the police a reason to be on edge, and you have to dispel that, them being on edge. It sucks, but you have to do it. Somewhere along the line, some of the younger people, the young black people, lost that. They lost it, and now they're paying the price.
Yeah, like, I've been doing these body cam reactions for the channel, and I can't believe how many people get locked up because they're just so incredibly disrespectful to police. I'm like, who raised you? Dude, when the cop comes up, yes, officer.
Yes, sir. No, sir.
Is it all right if I grab my ID? I'm gonna like, and it's entitlement. I'm like, they have guns. I don't know about you guys, but if a guy has a gun, I'm like, what do you need? How do you like? I don't know. It's just crazy.
And the fact that so many of us are defending, whoa, man, you, the minute he whipped out that knife, his life was over right there.
And this was a 4.0 athlete student.
Yeah.
Like me and Doug were
Austin
talking.
Metcalf.
Yeah, me and Doug were talking earlier. And we got to stop acting like all lives are equal. It's just not true.
Yep.
It just, I don't know where in the Bible it says that. Maybe I'm misquoting it. I don't know. But usually that just doesn't make sense to me. Like, okay, if there's a terrorist from hell, you're saying that person's equal to Mother Teresa or her equivalent. Really? That makes sense to you?
Yeah.
So for him, that's like a young Trump or that's a kid that's going places. You know, it's not, there's a reason serial killers go for hookers. There's a reason they like murder hookers because no one cares if they live or die. But you murdered a young man with a bright future. As far as I'm concerned, he didn't get enough time. He should be in jail for the rest of his life. Like I would say firing squad, death penalty. You killed Chad. You didn't kill some random hooker. You killed Chad. If there's anyone I should believe, you should do a stream with effective purpose. You should check him calling out what you saw in the churches and calling out other influencers as well. They keep calling me to buy a house. I don't want a house. I don't know. I'm not really super big on collabs unless I know them. I just kind of want to, like, if I have to spend an afternoon, like, he could call into my show if he wants to talk to me. I do call-ins all the time. So when we review some of the footage and do a show on it, he could just, it's pretty easy to get a hold of me if you pay attention. You tell these people to come like, I mean, it's actually so easy to talk to me. Like I'm actually one of the most accessible YouTubers out there that now I have to go to you. No, you know what I mean?
But yeah, so a couple of my friends were like, yeah, the black community has been wounded. I'm like, guys, no, it hasn't. No, it hasn't. Like, I hope this doesn't turn into a thing. I really hope it doesn't. Guys, I know there are times where you just gotta really think about if an altercation is worth your life, dude. And if it's not, just walk away. Walk away. A lot of you guys, especially if you listen to this channel, you have potential. One day you could be successful, competitive, ambitious. And is it worth throwing away over some altercation at a football game or a track meet over what? Over
Dude,
what?
Nothing.
Stay home, play video games or something. Come on.
Nothing.
And he's 18 years old. He's getting 25 years.
And he should get the death penalty, is my opinion.
Yeah. I don't see how anyone could be supporting the opposite of the verdict. I don't get it. How? Why?
I saw, and I actually usually like his takes. That guy that called into the show, I don't know, he's a black YouTuber saying that if you put your hands on somebody that like you fucked around and found out, basically. And I'm like, no, that's some black people shit. You take that ghetto shit and leave it in the hood. Okay, you do not have the right to come to white America and say you need to do things the way that we do it in the fucking hood. It's the hood for a reason.
Yeah.
It's the hood for a reason. You're going to, like, the audacity, you're going to come into white America and tell us the way that we should do things. Because the way black America has been, it's been going so well for you guys.
Yep. Guys, once again, a lot of you have something to, the worst thing you can do is have potential but think you have nothing to lose. So then you're going to get wrapped up in some stupid fight and it'll cost you your freedom. Let's really think about it. Is something worth your, that's why one of my favorite movies is The Shawshank Redemption, where it talks about being institutionalized. You've been in prison for so long Guys, you get thrown. Well, first off, we don't want you to get deleted. But second off, guys, you go to jail or prison and the world just goes on without you guys. Carmelo Anthony, he's going to be in one place for the next 25 years. The world is going to go on without him. Think about this stuff before you get into an altercation with somebody. You have something to lose, and don't lose it, guys.
Guys, it's why I avoid some of these. Oh my God, I was going to do a show. I'm not going to say who. I'll text you who. I was going to do a show, and there was this YouTuber they wanted me to do a show with, and I'm like, that's a crazy woman. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if she threw hands. I'm going to, they were like, oh, do you want to do a show with her? I'm like, I will literally kill you if you bring that woman. These mentally ill women, you gotta stay.
Oh no!
Yeah, like they're like, oh, we got her to agree. I'm like, yeah, you better get her to disagree because I'm not doing that.
Yeah, you would have had to bring a steel chair to that one,
dude. Because I mean, that's just some. Like that's the thing. There's some women that are so crazy they just can't like move on with their life.
Yeah. Yep. Society lets them, guys, only women can walk through life as crazy as they are. Most men who are crazy, walk around crazy, they get audited somehow, some way. But women, we haven't got to that point yet.
We're getting closer. Okay. I'm going to react to this footage. I might bring you back up later, but I'm going to drop it.
All right. I was going to talk to you. Once again, guys, you have something to lose. Don't let disrespect have you end up getting 25 years or ended up not being here anymore, guys. All right. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Oh, yeah. So I want to go through my Twitter because, yeah, let's see. Share this tab. We're going to go through what the Twitterverse is on today. Oh, there's so much Twitter to catch up on because I've been gone. All right, so this is the porn star Riley Reid who got married, and we're going to analyze how she got married.
How does your husband feel about your past history in the adult entertainment industry?
From what I'm aware of, I think he's got a pretty good like understanding of it. I think like.
So do you notice how she's smiling and thin? That's how she got married, ladies. See how she's happy, smiling, thin.
Like, we both feel like we're the same but different. We were actually talking about it last night, how it's like he's like in a very extreme person and with his sports and everything like that, and where he's like doing these crazy flips, putting his life at risk and whatnot. And like I'm an extreme person in like the content I create and the type of work I do. And so like we have a lot of like, we're both free spirited and goofy and silly and social, and we're both like extreme in like these different ways. But I don't know, I feel like everything kind of just had like a really good timeline, and he's not a judgmental person at all.
I can tell,
like, never like shames me.
Just like supportive.
Yeah, he's
past, present, future.
Exactly. So there's like no animosity or any dramas towards.
Yeah, you see, no drama, smiling. Oh, she started complaining to have her content taken down. Well, they're all going to do that. I mean, that's life, isn't it? Hold up. I got a request. Let's see. Hey, how's it going? Can they see on my side? I'm live too. I just saw your request. Thanks for having. I want to see if I can share my screen, if this will work. Guys, I got offered. They said I could. All right, can they hear me now? Let me see.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, not you. Not you. I'm talking to my
Oh.
friends. All right, can you guys hear them? Can you hear them? Yay, nay. Yes. Okay, they can hear you now, so it's good.
Oh, cool. So basically, we're just going through your video, Pearl, and Amalek is critiquing it and talking about some of the history. And he thinks that, like, I think he's on your side, but he thinks that you were lied to by this priest.
Oh, really? What did he think I was lied to about?
So many things. So many things.
How long have we been doing this for? Like 2 hours now. I like study plural. My name's Amalek, and I like go over. I'm a secular agnostic person, but I grew up Christian. I grew up Catholic, and then Protestant, and I study the Bible really hardcore. And basically, I think that these guys lie a lot, like priests and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
These guys just like have a really bad habit of lying, and people think that because they're priests, they like can get away with it essentially. And they like don't really know, and you'd have to basically be like a biblical scholar to almost uncut or like know it at a level that at least I do, to be like uncover it in real time. And like for like the last 2 hours we were just going through it, and he has like lied to you like 30 times about
what has he lied about?
Like he's like presenting these things as like, oh, the church did this or we believe this and things like that, these church traditions that are way later. Like he explains this birth narrative here. We're just going over this part where he's saying that in Luke, Mary is born, and that's the Annunciation. And we have this lore about how she was in the temple weaving, and she was like a temple virgin, and all these things, right? That is a 4th century, or that is a later apocryphal text called the the Proto-Evangelicum of James. The Gospel of James is what it's called. And that's got all this infancy narrative and all these other things. That's not inside their Bible. And he told you that's from Luke.
Oh, well.
So he's presenting things like that a lot, where he says like, oh, and as we say, like the gospel says this, and then it's not in the gospel. It's actually from something that's outside.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the Bible well enough to like go back and forth about, you know what I mean? Like what's true and what's untrue. So if they lie, I can't really,
Oh yeah, it's not your fault.
I don't, I just think there's like a circle of gaslighting that I get from religious people where it's like, first they say, oh, well, not all women or not all churches are like that. So I go to their church and then I interview people and then they give me kind of feminist answers. And then they're like, well, you interviewed the wrong people. And I'm like, okay, what people should I interview? And then they point me to someone I should interview. And then they do what's happening now where you're saying they said things that aren't true or accurate and then like, it's like a never ending cycle where
absolutely. Yeah.
I'm like, my question is the obedience question. That's really all I cared about. But
when he said to you that like he's like, oh, the Eastern Orthodox Church doesn't accept divorce, and then he goes on to be like, well, we would have them come back, of course, after they repented. I was just like, so you legitimately have no answer for this. It was all you held his feet to the fire too. Like they all answer like this, and my point, my greater point is. And maybe you're kind of picking up on this now. Adam Green and I have been watching you have these reactions for a little bit now. Mm-hmm. And like, are you picking up that like maybe the source of leftism might actually kind of be Christianity? It's kind of like that's kind of what they're riffing off of. It's kind of like leftism is in a way, or Christianity is in a way, like a version of ancient leftism. That's kind of how you could look at it.
No, I think it's giving women credit cards.
Well, you know what I mean, right? Like it's
I'm
like
not
this
giving
weird
back my
egalitarianism, right?
No, because to me, okay, it seems impossible that as a church you could keep the lights on without pandering to women. That seems impossible because if women make 85% of consumer buying decisions, like you're saying I'm going to make $15 and not $85. It just seems it seems like they're all going to crack no matter who they are because you have to keep the lights on. And that's just what I've found. So as soon as we got credit cards, I don't know.
It's funny because there was always this, even in the earliest layers of the church, there was this like trope of the Christian wife at home. Uh-huh. And the pagan husband. And that's kind of where this like the dopey husband trope kind of comes from in the West, is like there's lots of literature about this and writing about this.
Really?
Yeah, we have records of like basically like Roman soldiers coming home and writing to their their governor or their lord saying, you got to do something about this Christian stuff. We got effeminate men teaching our wives when we're going to war, and then we're coming home and
No
they won't
way.
have sex. They won't have sex with us because they refuse to have sex because Paul tells them not to have sex. Paul was celibate and told Christian women not to have sex with their husbands.
No way.
Yes.
Uh,
Paul said not to get married, not to have sex, unless you can't control yourself, can't control your lust, and then that's the second best option. That the best option is no sex. That's what he says. So there's records and Romans writing back and forth, basically like petitioning their government to shut Christianity down because their wives will no longer sleep with them.
I just think once it becomes a group, women get too much social power because there's always going to be sexually starved men. And like in religious, it's like extreme. And women that are, or men that are sexually starved just always simp. It's not like if, it's when. So, and like, I don't know, because again, like what I'm getting at is the woman's not obedient to the man. She's obedient to the institution. And a lot of like, it's kind of like a lot of what I've noticed is I lived with somebody that wanted to be a pastor. And this was like the laziest guy I ever met. Like he was like a young guy and he thought 40 hours a week was too much to work. And I'm like, you're like 20, you know what I mean? And so I find that a lot of religious leaders are just guys that want to talk for a living. Hypocritical, I know. I talk for a living. Hypocrite, I know. But it's a much easier job than like working, you know? So I'm like, I think a lot of the religious leaders just don't want to work. And so now you're having like the men that are working, or in this case, fighting. Now their wives listening to this like unemployed man, basically. Not all religious leaders, not all, but most of them didn't have careers before that, you know. So what like life experience do you really have? You agree, disagree? What do you think?
No, I agree. It's hard to say though too. The big thing about what I would say like the marriage and how these things have developed though is that we've had like 2,000 years of giving bad marriage advice where the advice has been what we see play out, where it's like kind of, oh, you're going to let another man come in and tell you how to run your household. And he's going to tell you, oh, don't let your wife, or you got to let your wife do this and let your wife do that. And that's kind of how we've been playing it out for 2,000 years. And it's not just like a random occurrence. It's because of the church teachings. It's the church's teachings.
Huh.
People don't know this unless they really study the Bible and understand like what Paul, who he was and what he taught and things like that. Like he was a celibate guy teaching. Basically, this was what he says. Paul says that we are in the end times. Jesus is coming back any day now. And that why would you bring a child into the apocalypse? That's very selfish of you. That there's no real reason to have children anymore. But if you just can't control yourself, go ahead and have children. Like that's how he lays out for Christians. So that's like the earliest layers of Christianity that we know, right? Or not the earliest, but part of the earliest church.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they're teaching their people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can see how, and I mean, they have issues with certain sects that are doing that. The men are literally castrating themselves. Certain saints and martyrs and priests are literally chemically or surgically castrating themselves. And it's not until the Council of Nicaea where they ban it. That's the first thing. The first part of the Council of Nicaea is them banning male castration. So this idea of like the effeminate male and then like the wife, the Christian wife at home, that alliance, you could call it or whatever, that's how Christianity kind of gets it going, is that idea.
I think it's abnormal for a man to want to listen to a lesser man. And I think that's what you get with a lot of these pastors. I just think a lot of them don't want to work. I don't blame them. Talking for a living is great. I'm not even judging. It's just I look at my dad's not the most religious, but he's the best man I've ever like met or seen in my life. And he works like I just can't imagine my dad accomplishing what he's accomplished, like taking advice from somebody who talks for a living, even me, you know what I mean? Like there's got to be a hierarchy of like, there's certain people that are better. I don't know.
Just imagine this, Pearl. Imagine this. Imagine you're in a medieval village and you've got that guy in your village and you're expected to go to him once a week and tell him all of your sins, and your wife is going to tell her all of the sins. So there's literally that guy that you're talking about right now in the medieval context and in the ancient context, in the old context. think about how that means today. Imagine people doing that today. What do you're going? Oh,
Yeah.
that's crazy how much power that person had in the village, right?
Isn't it almost better for the wife to confess to the husband? Wouldn't that be better?
I mean,
Like, just like, what's the
confessing to a like
otherwise is she just
Jewish first century rabbi isn't productive either. Like, I don't know what to tell people. Like, that's actually not what we should be doing with our time, is spending once a week sitting down and imagining a first century rabbi to talk to about our problems.
women confess to TikTok right now, which is great for my business, but I was like, I don't know, maybe the boyfriend.
In some ways, that's more ideal, though. At least
For me-
it's like honest.
Well, for me, right? I'm, but but I don't know. I think the whole family is tortured when the woman's like confessing all her sins on TikTok. I won't lie. She's like, yeah, I cheated on my husband. They're like doing it live.
Well, that's what the early church was doing. Is a lot of their saint stories and a lot of the early women, their story is that like, oh, she was a former prostitute, or she was sexually transgressive, and then she found Jesus, was baptized and washed away, and now she's got a new body in Christ. She's got a new soul, a new spirit, and you actually have to forgive her. And if you even talk badly about her previous life, you are being a bad Christian. Do you see where this is coming from now, Pearl? This is not just like this isn't a happy little accident. It came from the religion.
Dang. So this has just always been.
Yeah. I just kind of started like, I've been seeing some of your content for a while, but after I saw this interview, I went through and watched like all of your church interviews, because I love Adam Green does these like in-person interviews like this too, where he goes and asks people questions. And I was watching him the whole time just laughing, because I'm like, dude, Pearl, like this has been going on for way longer than just the last couple of decades or like feminism or anything. This is a way older problem, I would say. It's like just slowly, because it's slowly eroded itself to this point, you know what I mean, over the generations.
Well, do you know what it is? I was tired whenever I would make a generalization about women. There would always be the copes, which is not all women are like that. Like the church girls are better, and in my experience, the church girls are worse. So, and I was tired of I was just kind of getting sick of being gaslit, because I grew up in a Catholic area. So I'm like, I know the workaround virginity. Like, it's almost worse to like do anal and like pretend to be a virgin than just fucking a dude.
That's
almost,
the Catholic.
Yeah,
that is Catholic teaching.
Yeah,
I don't
like
think it's
that's
official,
almost,
but
like, yeah, I'm like that's all. That's teaching, but I know the gymnastics that women like do, the mental.
You know what it's funny about? It's like it's like their oral tradition. It's kind of like the Catholic Talmud version, right? Like everyone complains about, oh, these rabbis are doing the light switches on Saturday. They're trying to break the rules. They're trying to like come up with their own rules on how they can get out of breaking the Sabbath. And it's like that's the Catholic version of that is like their weird ideas of early.
Wow. Wait.
Right? You understand what I'm saying?
So like the Jews who hang that little string all around their neighborhood so that they can break the rules and get away with it. That is equivalent to Catholics doing anal and stuff.
Yeah, it's like basically the same thing, right?
Okay.
I mean, structurally,
you're right,
what's
actually.
different?
Yeah.
What's different
You're
about it, right?
Yeah.
And it's like
it's
such a tradition that everyone has the trope of it in their head about the Catholic girl who's like that when they're younger, right? Like everyone knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Well, and so I was like, okay, now I grew up around these people. Let me go prove it, because they would say, oh, you just interview these Miami thoughts or these London whores. Because I would do my interviews mostly, and that's most of the interviews are like at night. Or the show I used to do was at night. So I was like, oh, let me just go to churches. Your church women are so amazing. I bet they're gonna give me amazing answers, right? And then I go, and then it's the cope. It's, oh, well, you shouldn't go to church with a sign. You're being so disrespectful. And I'm like, no, I'm not. And then they're like, no, oh, well, it's just the girls that you interviewed. You interviewed the wrong girls in our congregation. I'm like, Ninja, please. Why don't you just admit that your church is flawed? Like, it's okay. We're all flawed. It's like, just say it. We have flaws. No, we're protected by God. It's like, oh my God.
Just wait until you find out how flawed it is, Pearl. Just wait until you find out how deep the rabbit hole goes. It's bigger than this.
No.
But Pearl, the reason that it's like that is because that's what their Bible teaches them to be like. I was just showing Carlin the passage. It says to basically like, if somebody is a bad Christian that's not following what they should be doing, it's not your place to basically judge them. That it's Jesus's job to judge them, and that you're actually harming the mission of the church if you call them out or judge them or anything like that. So it's like built right into the system. It's like, oh hey, why are all these people acting like they can't be judged and they can do whatever they want and all these other things, and they're not gonna, you know what I mean? Well, it's because that's how their religion is structured. That's what the book says. That's what Paul says in Romans 14 and 15.
Well, here's the thing. I'm not even judging. Hell, I have a ton of flaws, right? But we have to like admit, what are the flaws? Like, I don't know how to put it. Like, I just don't like being gaslit that it's like they put these women on a pedestal or their church on a pedestal as if they're above being flawed. And I'm like, most people are flawed. It's not even like a judgment. Like, what even is judging? It's like that word is so weaponized against that. It's like, do you know what? Observing that a porn star might not be the correct person to teach, that observate, not even condemning her for her lifestyle, not even kicking her out of the church, but saying, hey, I don't really want to be preached to by a girl that sucked dick on camera, like anybody else. And then they'll say, don't judge. And it's like, am I really judging? You know, like, is it?
I think Paul would say you're judging. Pearl, you're judging. According to Paul.
Like, okay, if I want to fly a plane, right? And they say, I don't think you're qualified to fly the plane. Is that judging me, or is that just stating the obvious?
No, I agree with you.
Like, that's what bothers me about church people is sometimes I just feel like am I talking to a real person here? Like, are we not
Oh no, you're not. 90% of people are basically like NPC, like soulless, like they don't have any idea what's going on. They don't have like an inner monologue, I guess, or something. I agree with that totally. But some of the people that you interview at church, it's like they've never been asked a question in their life. They're like, oh wow, I'm like 30 years old. This is the first time anyone's ever asked me a question. It's crazy to see that reaction when they oh, well, that's a weird framing. You're asking a very simple question about like priority of their values that they should be able to just like explain. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. The whole thing is crazy. And it is, like I said, it seems like it's liberalism, and I understand why anyone would say that. And I'm not like pro-leftist or pro-liberalism or anything like that. I just think that the source of the liberalism, what's going on, is that like liberals are basically like genetically Christian, like for lack of a better understanding, right? They're people who have like the same structure of Christianity and Christian values and Christian understanding of the world, just without the Christianity, basically. Without the Jesus, essentially. So now we have the right, which is they have the Jesus and they're doing the thing that's essentially, I would say, gender or cultural equality even, and racial equality. And then the left is basically doing the same thing without the Jesus. So both sides are doing this thing where they're like LARPing as the solution, I guess. That's what you're getting at, right? Like that's the problem. They're coming out and saying the real solution is if we all convert to Christ and we all join the churches and that's how we fix society, when like that's obviously not gonna fix the thing that we're trying to fix.
I'm gonna put something in the chat and I want you guys to play it. Just the audacity of these people. I can't put it on my screen because otherwise the share won't work or whatever. Hold on.
It's all good. I'll play it.
So do you know the Sarah Stock situation? Do you guys know it?
Oh, I'm
generally familiar. Yeah.
I was one of the leading reporters of that story. I'm pretty proud of
the leading reporter.
Were you the one who like got her to admit it?
No. But I don't want to say what my involvement is, but I was part of breaking the story.
Dude, look at how they were talking about me doing what they were doing.
Did you see Did you see the Kino Casino tweet about it's confirmed they got the divorce?
Really?
Sarah Stock and her husband have divorced, according to Aiden, the guy who runs the AF Post, which he would probably know.
Wow.
Kino Casino tweeted it out earlier. I saw.
Let me.
So Sarah Stock has divorced. How crazy is that?
That's wild.
So I'm gonna. Okay, so I'm gonna give a pretext. So.
Okay.
Were you there when? Do you know the Ring Gate, the e-girl war? Do you guys remember that?
Yeah, with I1. That's currently my desktop background is I1.
So I was the one who kind of started all of the warring, but again, because I said like I forgot what I said, but I was pointing out that she was showing off the ring and not the guy, and we all know what that means. You know what I mean? And she got pissed, so she calls into my show, and basically, and I sent you one of the tweets, says that I'm just jealous because she makes so much better life choices than me.
Is this one with you in the red shirt where
Yeah,
looks like you're talking
she
to someone?
calls in. I believe it's her. Hold on.
All right.
And this
We
is
can play
after
it if
she
you
was
want.
getting side with
Now get this. Elijah Schaefer, and I told Elijah this because because he wanted to collab, and I'm like, dude, or we were like talking about it, and I'm like, dude, he wanted to moderate a debate between me and Sarah Stock about the ring situation. And he said, this is going to be a fair debate. And I told him, I'm like, you fucking set me up. But he's like, I would never do that. I'm like, it's not that you wouldn't do that. You did do that. You tried. I said no. But
of course he would do that. Please.
Yeah. And I'm like, you have got to be. So I told Sarah she could call into my show, and she did. And I believe the second link, I have to remember, but I think it's that one. And by the way, she was eating Elijah's ass. She was literally eating his ass.
Wait, do you think that's true, or do you think that that's just like Elijah being a disgusting person?
No, I believe.
I think it's true. I would bet it's true.
I go 50-50 on it. I'm not 100% either way.
What's the incentive here?
For Elijah to do that, he's making his own lore basically right now.
This is just how Elijah talks. He was talking like this about his new girlfriend on that Twitter space last night. It's just how he talks. He has no fucking filter.
If it is true, it wouldn't surprise me.
Ladies, if you're gonna whore, I'm just gonna be honest. You cannot whore with men like Elijah Schaefer. Look, you got to watch out for these streamers. I'm telling you, they will tell everybody.
That's so real.
This is why I'm undefeated, right? I'm not that stupid.
No e-boys ever.
No e-boys, not even one.
Dude, these you guys like Lauren Southern. You fuck Tate. That's a ninja with nothing to lose.
Hey, that wasn't her fault. She just went to a hotel room to sign a contract. Come on, Pearl. She was doing business. Dude, imagine. Well, this is. I mean, I sort of feel bad in some cases, not with that one, but just in some cases in general in our society, because like the women I know, some women I know, like they're totally clueless. Like I could imagine them being like, oh yeah, I'll go sign the contract in the hotel room, and that's just like that itself is like naivety and embarrassing. Like, where's your father? Where's your brothers? Like, oh my god.
Hang on, we got a member chat from Newer2. I sometimes miss the Pearl and Heidi forbidden internet romance era. Yeah, that was a good era. That was a good era. But obviously, Pearl ended up with me at the end of the day, so that worked out well for me.
You're more my type, you know what I mean?
Alex, thank you for the $20. This is the best. We just need Adam and Layla, and this would make an unstoppable podcast. We'll have to work on that. We'll have to work on getting Adam Green on here too. Pearl, which clip do you want to listen to first? The one with you in the red shirt, or the other one?
The red shirt, but I'm gonna send one more. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's all right.
So.
It's your world, Pearl. We're just living in it.
Go from the bottom to the top. Okay.
Okay. Hang on.
The one I just sent, and then to the top.
All right. Got it.
It's like, I don't think that you can really argue it's for anything other when you're posting something on social media. It's for attention. I think it's gaslighting. I don't think it's immoral.
So that's everything you've ever posted too. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
So you posted like 50 different things about my engagement.
Well,
so that was all for attention.
I mean, I would say it's my job. I would say it's my job. It's for money.
I noticed what's trends. My job?
I noticed trends, but
So what's my job?
I don't know. I don't know you. Let's read the original post. We'll go to it.
Pearl, let's just talk about like your entire job is just hating on women who have made better life decisions than you.
Okay.
Oh, is that not true?
Oh, that aged wonderfully.
Is this your job, hating on women who got married 10 years younger than you that didn't sleep with a bunch of black men?
I'm not insulting
and
you. You're the
like
one.
you're virtue signaling off of what not.
I'm not insulting
not
you.
getting married young.
I'm not.
I don't
insulting
understand
you.
like what you
I'm
think.
not insulting you. You're insulting me. I'm not insulting you.
Okay, so then go to the next one. Keep going. Mind you, she's eating Elijah Schaefer's ass while telling
I
you
did.
this.
There's some women that have certain behaviors that usually predict a divorce later. This wasn't made by me, but by the observations of thousands of men. I did not create this. And when women show off the resources that men give them, rather than the boy or rather than the guy, it's usually not looking good for you, fellas. I hate to break it to you. And these are the women that say they're so feminine and winning. It's like, are you really? If you're a bitch with a ring, you're just a bitch that got a ring from a simp. There's some women that have certain behaviors that usually predict a divorce later. This wasn't made by.
And go to
Let's go. Got it.
And then this.
How crazy is that? How crazy is this? They get their wedding blessed by their church, by the way. And even if she wasn't being a hypocrite, right? If, during this whole time, she wasn't actually sleeping with Elijah Schaefer, but let's just pretend that didn't happen for a second. That whole interaction is so incredibly unchristian of her. The way that they're taught to behave is absolutely so far removed from how she was talking to you and how she was acting. Oh, you did this, you did that. Hey, guess what, Sarah Stock? You're not allowed to complain about anyone who sleeps with black guys or black anything or be racist whatsoever in your church. Racism is totally banned from Catholicism. Absolutely 100%. And so is calling out other people like that. But
question why you would do that as a man, but as a woman, I think the reason why that's the case, Pearl, is because some women actually have families. That's unfortunate. I'm just saying, maybe if you had one too, you would also, perhaps be doing that.
Which I think she's angling for.
Question why.
Bruh. Now go to the next one. Go to the next one.
That's the last one.
No, the screenshot. The screenshot.
Hey, okay. There it is.
Hey, let's set up something with you and Sarah Stock ASAP. We can meet at your studio or fly you here. I'll moderate. I'm neutral because I like you both.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
wait, is it neutral when you're getting your ass eaten by one of the members of the debate, one of the people that debate?
Fuck you, guy. You know what? I was like,
Listen, I have a soft spot for Elijah. I do. Amalek knows this. I give him shit when he gives Elijah shit. Like whatever. But I also can acknowledge that I think Elijah is out of his mind, insane, with no filter. And although I like him, I think I do not think he's above doing anything he needs to do to get views on the internet or make money.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Well, I don't mind him either. He's fine, but I'm like,
I like him. I do.
This is what I'm saying. What is wrong with you, Ninja? That's what I was thinking. That's more what I'm like, what is wrong? How are you talking?
But he shouldn't be setting people up. But obviously I would also not be surprised if he did. I'm like, okay, yeah, of course that makes sense. Yeah. Obviously.
I'm like,
if I fall for it, shame on me.
I mean, I just told them pay me and they didn't want to pay me, so I didn't do it. But
what's crazy is while he's doing this, he's trying to set up other debates. Like he was supposed to set up a debate about my sphere and the Christianity thing, and he just backs out and cancels and things like that. And it was either the person themselves heard me debate somebody and crush them, and that's why they backed out, or he just gave up on it. And I think part of the reason he gave up on it is because there's not a lot of money in my type of debate, debunking Christianity or religion itself. Because so many people in his sphere and so many people that are grifting off of are Christian. So what ends up happening is he's forced to do these sort of drama debates, you know what I mean, over rings and things like that. So it's really embarrassing for him because he's basically become the Jerry Springer of the right wing online, or however you want to describe what this group is.
I couldn't believe the audacity. That's really what I just could not believe that they were talking to me the way they were talking to me, doing what they were doing. And you know what? Here's the craziest thing. I heard about this before. Even during that clip, I knew she was fucking him.
I think everyone kind of knew she was fucking him. I mean, I thought that was always pretty obvious, honestly.
I mean, I don't know. I just heard it from somebody and I felt like it was a pretty credible source, but I wasn't going to be the one to do it. So
Do you remember when she debated? There was that I don't remember what it was. It was something they went and debated. She debated like a left-wing Christian. It was another woman.
mhm.
Do you remember what I'm talking about?
No.
I can't remember her name. Sarah Stock debated another woman who was she's like a Protestant Christian woman who's a leftist, and they're debating on like traditional values or something stupid. And Sarah Stock got crushed to death. Like she got crushed by like a liberal, basically, like a liberal woman, and she had no arguments at all. All she could possibly do is sit there and do like a Nick Fuentes impression. That's basically what her argument was. So the idea that she had anything of value to add other than being Elijah Schaefer's e-girl or whatever, it's insane. It's like laughable. She had no interesting things to say or add to the conversation.
And it's just,
but this is why Nick and the Groypers are right that Elijah has to stop bringing fucking e-girls around. And listen, obviously I'm a woman and I kind of hang around with them. I don't think I qualify as an e-girl because I'm way too old for that shit. But Elijah just makes horrible decisions and he brings around horrible people because he wants to fuck them. And like, here's what ends up happening inevitably every time.
Do you know what? It's just insulting my intelligence. Like, for example, this new one, I guess there was some girl that was like dropping the N-bomb, his new girlfriend.
Yep.
And I guess it came out that she had a TikTok called King Von's Throat Goat.
Mm-hmm.
And I've said this for a while that when women are racist, because someone, my ex-boyfriend was black who has gone that route. Like no girl is going to be comfortable saying the N-word unless she's been around black people. So it's actually more likely that they've banged a black guy if they're racist.
Oh.
Because the girls that like have never gone that route, they're like, oh, I don't know. Like they're like, would you date a black guy? They don't say it with disgust. Like hate's closer to love. Do you know what I mean? Like, so
yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah. So I that's why I always quote tweet and I say racist e-girls love black guys because hate's closer. It's the same thing. My co-host Doug MPA, he always talks about how he hates black women, but he dates them. He loves them, but it's just, the reason you can only hate something if you have experience with it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
according to Elijah last night in the Twitter space he did with Beardson, he said that was all made up and she was a virgin when she made all those and she was just making jokes and all that. I'm kind of like, but there seem to be a lot of accounts where she's talking about black guys, like a lot.
You just got to think about it. I mean, especially for girls in media, like there's certain industries where black guys are high status. So if she's done like, if she's been like on a college campus, there's a lot of black guys that are athletes. They're high status, like not one of them had the game to crack your girl. Really? You're just so special and awesome. Only you could do that. Really? But
I just wish we could be normal. Can't we just be normal? Can we not do this thing where we're like, oh, we're going to be yelling the N-word everywhere and doing all this crazy stuff? Like it actually, like everyone is racist enough that everyone understands, oh, hey guys, racism is back and it's cool again. We don't actually need to continue to do that. Actually, we can just be normal people.
Yeah. Well, anyways, what I was kind of getting at is that Elijah's, he's insulting my intelligence by saying, oh, you have to believe me that my girlfriend isn't like, she hasn't banged a black guy, even though her TikTok is King Von's Throat Goat. Like, and by the way, Pearl, you can't, I'm going to get mad. I'm going to call you a bitch if you publicly say that because you have my number and you should just text me.
Yeah, that was a weird part of that whole thing. Yeah. The idea that you have to like run by your critiques of his whore of the week. You have to run by hey, just so you know, Elijah, I'm going to be talking shit on your e-girl this week, so just so you know, here it is. Like, what is he doing? I don't understand. Does he honestly think that he's like the pimp of or the woman wrangler of the dissident right online? Because he's obviously not. He's obviously like a deeply closeted man.
Yeah, I'm like, so well, I don't know if he's closeted or I mean, I don't really care.
I don't think he's closeted at all. I think he absolutely loves fucking women. Yeah, I do.
I don't really care if he like that's just not. I don't care. Do you know? But it's just more, you're insulting my intelligence. You're telling me I have to believe that a girl with a TikTok, King Von's Throat Goat, and that's not just a black guy, okay? I prefer, conservative black guys. So if I date a black guy, it's going to be a conservative. I call them Malcolms. That's who I date, okay?
Malcolms.
Yeah, Malcolms. you got the biggest ninja I've ever seen. Like, that's like a ghetto black dude. Like, so you put the ghettoest, like, King Von, didn't he get shot and like die in like a rap war? Pretty sure.
I'm white. I have no fucking idea who that guy is.
I'm not sure. I don't. Yeah, he died.
Rap war sounds crazy.
Yeah, he died. Let's see, how did he die? Yeah, if you just Google King Von and show his stuff, that's like the most ghetto black guy ever. And you put that you were his throat goat. And you're saying, Elijah, it's impossible. It takes women like 15 minutes to have sex. You're saying it's all outside of the realm of possibilities that a girl with that TikTok handle banged a black guy ever. Get the fuck out of here. You're insulting my intelligence. Anyways.
Because I don't even really care who Elijah's banging. It doesn't make any difference at all to me. Like whatever. He just got divorced. Let the man live. But like, the whole thing is stupid. He needs to stop elevating stupid women. Honestly.
Well, I would say, the reason that he thinks he can get one over on you on the and make you believe something as ridiculous as that is because he also expects everyone to believe in his like magical friend, that rabbi that he talks to when he prays.
True.
So it's actually not that far off.
Christianity created the problem.
Well, I mean, maybe they didn't create the problem, but it certainly doesn't help when a lot of people have this idea that like, oh, I have my magical friend that I talk to and all my friends are going to talk to this magical friend together. And you're going to be expected to believe some crazy stuff like talking donkeys and water into wine. And, that a bunch of like ancient authors, like they were able to predict the future and that scripture is actually written by God himself. Like all of these ideas themselves are so fantastical and ridiculous that to them in their head, in Elijah Schaefer's head, making you believe that the throat goat person or the throat goat situation is totally kosher, if you will, like that's actually not that crazy because he thinks that you should also believe in a talking donkey and all the other stuff.
Well, and I don't know, your reputation as a woman, it's just your problem. It is not your boyfriend's or husband's job. Like, it's just not their, like, they have better things to do than defend you to other people. Because of like a choice you made. If you made that choice, that's your own problem. So
just own it. Just own it. Like, I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah.
Pearl, would you like to watch some of this video with us and listen to Amalek talk about it?
Sure, for a little bit. Can I invite my co-host to come on?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Link.
Sure.
All right, let's see.
Amalek, do you want to share the video again?
Yeah,
you can be a control.
Yeah, let me.
And the teacher of why Christianity is ultimately Jewish and has created all of these problems and embeds these problems in our society.
Hold on one second. I want to find something.
Maybe you should also like give an overview of generally kind of your argument on this, just so Pearl and her co-host know what's going on. That might be a good idea.
Yeah, let me bring this up. Give it back to sharing mode.
Pearl, do you have access to get the invite link? Well, I guess you have it.
I just sent it to him.
Okay, there's Doug. Hello, Doug.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
I just want to say one last thing. Pearl said this the other day, and I have to say it. Isn't it crazy that Adam 22 and Lena the Plug's marriage lasted longer than Sarah Stock's marriage?
That's wild that they got divorced. But like, I don't blame that guy. That poor guy, honestly.
Wait, what poor guy? Which one?
The husband, Sarah Stock's husband.
Oh, okay,
like, that poor guy. Honestly, like, bro.
I would have killed to have heard that conversation when all that came out between those two. I wonder the likelihood of him. I wonder if he decided to leave right when that whole thing came out, or did he have a time where he wanted to simp and stay in the marriage? What do you guys think?
I bet he stayed, and then couldn't take it.
Yeah, I bet that was a process. I mean, like it's got to be like a total mind fuck, honestly. Like you've just gotten married. You thought she was a virgin. Your marriage got blessed by the fucking Pope. Like it's just like that's a huge mind fuck to even find out, oh my God, everything I thought was true is a lie.
That's the thing. This whole thing where women will never understand what it's like to be a man and have everyone making fun of you because your wife or your girlfriend's a whore. And I think the only thing worse than that is imagine all the young boys in middle school and high school whose moms are going to be on OnlyFans. Kids are brutal.
Yeah.
If any of my friends in high school's moms were on OnlyFans, I'd give it to them so bad. Oh, people aren't going to care. Yeah, they are. Yeah, they would.
Oh, I went to school like that. So, somebody had that their mom was somebody found online that somebody's mom was doing that kind of thing, and she was actually kind of famous, and he got shit. I mean, I think this was like ninth grade. I think I remember when the people found this out, and basically that's who he was now. That was his identity.
Oh,
yeah. But to be fair, I'm gonna like, men are not perfect in this area either. I've had like 3 men publicly on the internet accuse me of coming on to them and trying to sleep with them, when in fact they were the ones that came on to me and I said no. And so it's like that goes both ways. Like both sexes are fucking awful, honestly.
Shit, sorry. Do you know what it is? It's men that are sexually inexperienced. They take everything as you wanting to sleep with them because they just don't like get women usually. So they like think everything is a girl trying to sleep with them.
That could be true as well.
And just one last thing on this. Do you think it was a slow burn where Sarah Stock's husband's like, I can't do this anymore, or was it one thing? Do you think?
I think it was just he came to a realization. Probably, I think it just took time.
Okay.
People said that he was suicidal right out of the gate, and to leave him alone. People said to leave him alone, and he was suicidal. And I was kind of going hard on the whole Sarah Stock thing because
because she was asking for it.
Well, I mean, I just my desire in this, you know, what I do on my account and things like that is I'm trying to remove. I don't want religion to be involved in politics. I want politics to be secular, because I think whenever you add this like religious layer, it adds all of these problems that we're seeing, and like that's kind of the root cause in my view. So like this idea that we're going to be trad, e-crusader LARPers, and that we're going to have a traditional marriage just like Christ would have wanted. We're going to get married to the Orthodox Church, and we're going to have the Pope bless, we're going to have the Pope bless our marriage, and all these other types of ideas. Like I think that itself is kind of part of the problem. That is seen as the ideal, if that makes sense. So I had problem with Sarah Stock and the whole thing because I saw this coming from a mile away. I was calling it out and all this other stuff. So when it happened, I was just like, I told you so. I told you so. And I had people tell me like, hey, chill out. This guy's like not in a good spot right now. So I did, by the way. So I think that it likely was right from the beginning is what I would think.
Yeah. Cool.
Cool.
All right.
Okay.
And like, do you want to get like an overview of what you believe generally and why we're watching this?
Yeah, I'm gonna be as quick as I can about this. Okay, essentially, like, I've already kind of explained that I'm like I want secular politics, and I'm like anti-clerical, I guess you could say, or anti-religion in general. Anti-superstition is a better way to put it. But I study the Abrahamic religion, so I know a lot about this stuff, and I know a lot about his tradition, and I argue with these people online constantly. That's what I do, is argue about the Bible with Adam Green and kind of bring our perspective to it. And one of the things that we deal with is people saying like, oh, the way to, you know, be anti-Zionist is to convert to Eastern Orthodoxy. That's the anti-Zionist brand of Christianity, and they're traditional, and they don't do that Zionism stuff. And I just want to point out here in the very beginning how absurd that is. The entire room that he's about to talk about here, and the idea that you could possibly be like anti-Zionist in this room is crazy. So I just want to play this and explain to you real quick, Pearl, what you're in right now when you're in this room. So hold on.
Testament tabernacle to the outer. The narthex is this space we're in right here with a kind of low ceiling. That in there is called the nave. Narthex again means porch. It is analogous in the Old Testament tabernacle to the outer court, sometimes called the court of the Gentiles. Technically, there were 3 outer courts. There was a court of the Gentiles, there's a court of women, and then there's a court of men. Mm-hmm. So you have Gentiles, and then you have Hebrew women, and then you have Hebrew men. And then you have the holy place where only the priests are allowed to go, and then the most holy place where only the high priest is allowed to go once a year.
Okay, so do you understand what they're saying is that the way that their architecture and their church is built is under the Old Testament rules, where Gentiles or Goyim or non-Jews must sit out in this little mud room. This is where they must, this is their audience room. They must, and they must stand as well. Not only that, but they must stand in that room, and that they're not allowed to enter the Jewish section, because the earliest versions of Christianity had this group that you could call God-fearers, which were Gentile worshipers of the God of Israel. Okay. So that's kind of the earliest version of Christianity. So people who say like, oh, look how anti-Zionist they are. I mean, Pearl, you were in this room. Every single reference is to the Old Testament, to the Torah, the religion that they're all following in Israel. It's all about Moses. It's all about Isaiah and King David and this whole room. This is the Goyim mudroom that you're looking at. You know what I mean?
I'm going to be honest. I don't know what any of that means.
That's awesome.
I don't know. I can't lie to you. You know,
it means their entire religious framework is based on Judaism. Essentially,
it's supremacy. It's this idea that the non-Jews must sit in the back of the room in the cheap seats, in the bleachers, basically, and that the Jewish people sit in the front. So then Eastern Orthodox people who are saying like, oh, we're the real anti-Zionists, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
So you'll see that we've basically still followed the
my dog is being weird.
Take your time.
I'll be right.
I'm gonna show the Mary thing, I think, right? Oh, actually, hold on.
structure, but we shift everything up one for very important reasons, which I'll talk about. So
the gray area between
it's over.
Is not as gray as it used to be.
There are hackers out there that want nothing more than to cause damage and wreak havoc.
I'm just on my.
Is this on YouTube?
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta get premium. Dude.
I'm on my Rabbi research account right now, and it just doesn't.
Wait, so I'm just gonna interact. I'm just gonna interrupt real fast. What the biggest cope? Like what sect of Christianity are the biggest feminists with the most cope? Off the top of your head.
Well, the biggest feminists are obviously like the liberal Christians who literally believe in like an interpretation, like the James Talricos, right? If that makes sense.
Oh no, but I'm talking about actual like sect, like Orthodox, Catholics, Protestant. Who's the absolute worst from what you've seen, and who has the most cope to try to cover it up, where their words blatantly don't match their actions? If you had to pick one for the sake of this conversation.
Probably like the modern liberal Baptists or the modern liberal like Presbyterians and things like that. Like they have a lot of that built into their thing. But I would say like every single version of Christianity has their own version of extreme cope built into it, and it's like depending on the situation. When it comes to like this like idea of like women's equality or how to run a household and things like that, it's obviously like those like more liberal type of churches. But I don't think that these guys have any better solutions. Is really the problem.
That was my next question, but you just beat me to it, so never mind. Go ahead.
I don't think any of that's the problem. That's why I don't want young men to hear that what they need to do is convert to Christianity and join a church and find a nice church girl, because I don't think that that's actually like a good advice any better than go to the bar and pick up a nice girl at the bar. I think that
we always say that church is the last stop on the whore train.
Yes.
So we were saying on Pearl's platform, so if I were 18 and I were a woman and I was like an 8 or above, right? I'd hop on like OnlyFans or something like that, cash out, you make a couple mil, cash out at 25 and then go to church and marry some church sin. Why not?
I don't know. I thought that I came with some real solutions for marriage. I said 10 years of text messages.
Well, that was the thing. He had nothing.
iCloud, you could get that. You know what I mean? Like 10 with the iCloud emails nowadays, all that stuff is backed up to, you could get a decade of text messages if you really want. Mm-hmm. Why not submit it, ladies? You're virgins, right? You're not like that, right? Submit the text. Oh, no. Crazy.
And then another take that Pearl has is, okay, who are bigger cucks? Liberal guys like Destiny or the TradCon guys?
Both.
No, but honestly, so what is your position again, Pearly?
Okay, so cuck, basically, when we think of cuck, it's like the cuck chair. So the guy's sitting in the corner watching his wife bang another dude. But also being cucked, a lot of men, when they're divorced, I would say they're cucked because they're paying for their wife to bang other dudes in their house. And that's kind of hell on earth, right? So another guy goes into his house and then gets cucked by this new guy. And I was thinking about it, and I'm like, in a way, I think if I took Steven Crowder and Destiny, Crowder is more cucked because he's paying $30K a month, or at least was at one point, for his wife to bang other dudes, where Destiny's in an open marriage. And yes, that's cucked, but it's almost less cucked because Destiny almost out-cucked his wife because he was banging he's banged a lot of attractive women.
Yeah. His
So,
roster is impressive.
Yeah, his roster is pretty decent. So who's really more cucked?
Which is bizarre in and of itself.
We don't have to talk about why. We don't have to. We may not understand it, but yeah. So.
What do you got, Amalek? Did you find the part you wanted to show?
Yeah, hold on one second. I'm gonna switch over to this side here. I want to go right to the part where you guys talk about divorce. That now that you're here, bro, because this blew my mind. He has nothing at all for this. One second, let's just go through. Like I said, I'm on my rabbi account. Apologies. I this is for Chrome. I don't have the Chrome edition or the Chrome extension for no ads.
It's all good.
You know, a good example would be something like divorce, right? Which the Orthodox Church absolutely prohibits. But then it happens. So then do you have a way of bringing somebody back into the community? Because the thing that we're always concerned about, or the thing we should always be concerned about, obviously, I get distracted and focus on the wrong things. The thing we should always be really concerned about is the salvation of the soul. We're not trying to create utopia. We're not trying to create a perfect society of perfect people. Christ did not come to make bad men good. He came to make dead men live.
Okay.
So the thing that I'm always concerned with, or should always be concerned with as a clergyman of the Orthodox Church, is the healing and the salvation of.
So just to be clear, he's saying that the salvation of their eternal soul takes priority over the divorce thing. So this idea that divorce is absolutely prohibited in the Orthodox Church is not true. That's not their number one value. That's not what they're doing. They do prohibit it. They do it. You just have to ask, say you're sorry, and then they'll let you back in.
Another human person. And this is a way in which I significantly failed you yesterday. So once again, I'm going to really ask your forgiveness for a thoughtless, hasty tweet. Okay? And I can make all kinds of excuses. Not going to do that. But the thing that we should always be concerned with is the health and the salvation of the people. So for me, that's this flock, these people. So in the Orthodox Church, we call our priests, we call our deacons, Father. And the reason we do that is because these are our children. And
how crazy is that, though? Just like the idea that like, oh, you're gonna call like another man father, and like they're your children. Like that itself, like what? How is that? I mean, how is that not cucked? I don't get it.
It kind of is cucked.
Like, just the whole relationship there, right?
I only call one man father in my life.
Right? It's literally like, call me daddy. You're gonna call me daddy. Like, what is going on? How is this? How are we getting this guy calling? How for 200 years or 2,000 years have we gotten people like this getting called daddy? What is going on?
We can be very sometimes protective of them, but ultimately the thing that someday I'm gonna have to stand before Christ, and I'm gonna have to give an account for certain things I've done with my life. How have I used the time, talents, and treasure that he gave me to use to his glory? But also, he gave me a wife, he gave me 6 wonderful children, and then he also gave me this flock. And I'm gonna have to be accountable to God for the way that I pastored them in a way that other people just simply will not.
Would you ever tell a woman who's been like divorced that she has to get back with her husband in order to return?
Would I ever?
Or
sure.
Have you?
No, I'm a deacon. It's not my job to do that.
Oh, sorry. Maybe not you, but someone that's representative or like would have that authority.
That has certainly happened. Okay. It would depend on the circumstance.
Okay.
How crazy is that? Absolutely no divorce in the Eastern Orthodox Church. There's none at all. It's not allowed. Oh, well then have you had women who had to get back with their husbands? Oh yeah, that happens. Like, How did nobody see that this is like he's presenting one thing and then doing another, and like that contradiction, that hypocrisy, that's kind of what you're pointing to here, right? Like that's not the way we're going to win. That's not the way we're going to fix society. That's not the way men are going to find women and women are going to find men if we're going to like pretend with these like fuck games, like these religious, ridiculous games.
But it's certainly happened.
But like barring maybe abuse, outside of that, would that be pretty much it?
I think, I mean, if you're just asking me personally, I say if there's not abuse, then divorce is not an option. So let's figure out what's going on. And if you're separated, I want to bring you back together. Okay. Right? Yeah. So that's, you know, again, the goal is always the healing, right? And the all the way back in the garden, right? God makes man one unit, and then he splits us into two. So the rest of creation already has these masculine, feminine aspects, right? We know this intuitively. You know, things like water is feminine, right? The sea is never a he, right?
How can he just give you a straight up answer? I don't understand. Why do we have to do this metaphor shit? I don't.
Yeah.
I know. Do you see me like looking up? Because I'm like, huh?
Your body language this whole time was cracking me up. I was me and Adam Green were reacting to this on stream, some of the clips from it, and at one point you made this move where you're like, get me out of this room, and it was so, I can't remember where it's at. It's somewhere in here. It was so funny because he's just like every time you can tell he's about to do a thing where he's like gonna give you his lore dump. You know what I mean? Like, okay.
Yeah, because I hate it when religious people don't give me simple answers and then they want to like go back. They do all these biblical stories and all this stuff, and I'm like, could you just answer the question?
Yeah, and the worst part about it is the answer's already there in the Bible.
Yeah.
The super chat that I got says, I can't stand when they can't give you a yes or no answer. Yes, they are to obey their husbands. My dad told my mom to shut the fuck up, and it worked. Yeah.
Yeah, my husband would never do that. He knows that would not end well.
Well, isn't it interesting how they're basically trying to paint it like, oh, real Christian traditional men, they can tell, like, if you were to go online, the idea is that, oh, if you're like a real trad Christian, you can tell your wife to shut up, get back in the kitchen. And then you go and you talk to their priest and they're like, actually, don't do that or we're going to kick you out. Like,
and guys, it isn't even a shut up thing. It's, look, men discuss and argue to a solution, and women would discuss and argue until they feel you've had enough or they feel they're done. That's the biggest difference between men and women. So a guy has to be able to say, look, we're not talking about this anymore. Stop it. And if your wife doesn't do that, you have a serious problem, because a lot of times they just want to, a woman will get upset and she'll start yelling and screaming at you. You can be presented a solution to the problem. You can apologize, but she'll keep going until she feels she's done. That could be an hour, 2 hours, 5 hours. It could be till the next day. And a lot of guys, we have stuff we have to do. You have to at least be able to say, look, we're not talking about this anymore. Or let's revisit. You have to be able to stop the conversation. If you can't do that with the woman you're with, a lot of times you're in trouble.
Humanity also has these masculine, feminine aspects. And for the health, salvation, and full flourishing into the image and likeness of God, which is the goal of what we're doing here, male and female are both necessary, and they have to be properly ordered together. This doesn't mean everyone has to be married. We have a long, rich history for 2,000 years of monasticism, right? Monks and nuns, right? So there are different ways to live out these callings, and it means something different for a man to be saved than it means for a woman.
How ridiculous is this? How is he bringing this up to your divorce question? How is he bringing that up? So is he trying to say that, oh, if a woman gets divorced, she should become a nun? Is that what he's insinuating here? Or the man should be a monk? That's retarded. That's not a fixing of the problem. You still have to pay child support if you become a nun or become a monk. It's retarded.
Woman to be saved. But in all of these cases, you need the image of the masculine, the image of the feminine. And this is, obviously, you see this here. We've got Christ, and then we've got his mother.
Right, okay.
Yeah. So,
we drew a picture. That's our argument. See, we drew this picture. You can see it here. We drew a picture of the argument for you if you can't figure it out.
They made a picture book. They made a children's book.
It's ridiculous.
that case, what's good for the salvation of a couple is for them to be united, because that is where they're going to find their salvation.
Okay, perfect timing actually, because I want to show you this one here. Can you see this? Yeah, here we go. Okay.
Very much.
Pearl, I need your reaction to this. Okay, so he said that maybe the women should become nuns. Now, this is a Catholic nun. So it's not an Orthodox nun. Well, let's see. What do you think? I want to know what you think about this nun. And maybe you can see what I'm talking about when I say the nitpicking and that kind of thing comes from this.
The Archbishop Fulton Sheen quote that I actually very much dislike, that hearing a nun's confession is like being stoned to death with popcorn. And I really dislike it because I do think that it really does give a misconception of the kinds of things that we try to share, of the struggles that we have, of it's just like, oh, that's cute. That's so little compared to what we're doing in the world. But I would argue actually those little pieces of popcorn are often much more serious than these like big sins that are happening in the world.
How funny is that? Dude, he clocked her. She's complaining about the Archbishop. Do you understand how crazy this is? He's like the head honcho king of the whatever, and she's sitting here being like, actually, your line about the popcorn is actually offensive because it makes my feelings hurt. Like, how crazy is this nun? What?
Oh my God.
Here we go.
Women are women. It doesn't matter where you go or where you put them. There's patterns of behavior that just women will do. And if you get a group of them together, there'll be like one that won't, but most will. And it just is what it is. Just eat it. It's fine. But stop gaslighting me that it's your church. Your woman is special or different. She's probably not. The most they'll say is, yes, listen to your hubby, but hubby, don't abuse or don't do this, blah, blah, blah. But never, wives, be respectful and don't nag him.
Yeah, and that actually reminds me of my wife. One thing she realized recently is that to some extent she believes she's made an idol out of health. And she went to confession and just felt like the priest didn't understand this gravity of what she was dealing with.
One of the more difficult things I've encountered in confession is when, particularly if it's a priest who doesn't know my heart, when his response is, that's not a sin.
Okay.
And I'm like, well, the Lord and I have talked about it, and I know I wronged him, and I know that this was a sin. So the Archbishop.
How crazy is that clip?
What?
Wow.
I talked to Jesus, and actually, I'm sorry. I know I'm confessing my sins to you, but I talked to Jesus, and you're just wrong.
Dude, people that say, Candace Owens does this too, where they say they like have dreams or heard from God. I'm like, you're just telling me you're batshit crazy. You are.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I don't believe them in the slightest because how can we verify that? Like, how can I verify that God told you that?
Well, hold on. Do you know that's what that? Okay, so how much do you know about Paul? He wrote most of the New Testament. He
killed everybody, right? And then saw Jesus and stopped.
Yeah, sure. And he has his epiphany on the road to Damascus. I mean, I think that's like an older tradition. We don't need to get into it here or too much, but like, you know that Paul never met Jesus, right?
No.
He never claims to have met Jesus. He says that he saw him in Revelation. He says, I only knew Jesus through the word and through the scripture and through revelation. Paul never met Jesus once. So the person who wrote the person who wrote most of the New Testament, Paul himself, never even met Jesus. So it's literally reliant on what you're describing right here. He met him in a dream. He met him in a vision. And that's what brings Christianity to the Gentiles.
I don't know. My thing is, I don't like how big of egos religious people have, because I just have a hard time believing they've read all the books. So how can you be so sure you're right if you haven't read all the books cover to cover?
I couldn't agree more.
I feel like you have to read all of them, and you have to read the ones you disagree with, right? And that's why I'm not that religious, because I'm really not going to do all that. Like I'm not gonna. I'll go to the church. I'll see if your women obey, but I don't see myself reading all the books cover to cover. That just seems like a lot of work. I'm a really big reader, so
follow up on that by saying you have to. You know how many Christians I've heard say you have to choose to give your heart to Jesus, and you have to choose to be a Christian. It's all about the choice and giving yourself over, but then you're still doing stupid crap. It's like, you're putting yourself in this situation by proclaiming this faith in the first place. And by proclaiming, you're saying that you're abiding by rules. So when you see a Sarah Stock who's eating ass while she's being pressed by the Pope, that's her fault. Like, you proclaim this holier than thou platform. All these tradcons, most of them are going to do something stupid, but you're making it even worse by making this proclamation of faith. And that's why what you're talking about earlier, MMA, about going after Sarah Stock and feeling bad about her. Don't feel bad. No, I wouldn't.
Go harder, actually.
Yeah.
I think
and pettiness is great.
You see, she spoke to me. I mean, they had no qualms about going hard on me. I mean, go hard right back. You know.
Yep, got it.
Amalek, where do you want to go from here? Oh, keep going.
He's muted.
I'm back. I'm here. Yeah, we can keep going on this one. Okay, Pearl, you held his feet to the fire for 11 minutes or something like that, where you just don't let him budge, and it's pretty funny because he just gives you this like gobbledygook answers for the whole time. But hold on, I want to find. Somebody said, let me find this one part.
Bible is a 72-hour read. Who's got 72 hours?
Well, you said something in there. You said like you didn't want to read it all. Well, I'm just telling you, like, I'm somebody who has read it all, and that's why I don't believe it's true, because I've studied the scholarship around it and things like that, and I understand like where it came from, I guess you could say, and it's just that's why to me it's not true. So they're in this weird catch-22 where if they do read it, they might come out like me, and if they don't read it, they're just going to be like ignorant like they usually are. You know what I mean? Like, and that plays out constantly in mass, I think. Let me find the part where he talks about the Annunciation and the virgin birth. I think it's right here.
Has anyone actually made it to level 4 before? If you're slightly congested, use level 1.
A service of God in the temple. And then when she hit a certain age, she was sent away to live under this in 2009. Things happened. If you're ever interested in the history of Dallas, there's a bunch of weird stuff that happened over there. Now, Christ moves down through the Old Testament. So I mentioned there's a kind of a pedagogy, that is a teaching. And the pedagogy is the Old Testament. So the Old Testament is, you start it with everybody, and then you narrow it down to just Noah's descendants. And then you narrow it down to just Abraham's descendants, and then just Isaac's, and then just Jacob's, and then just Judah's, until we get to her. So this moment, the moment of the Annunciation, depicts the Mother of God. It's a young woman. She had been dedicated to a service of God in the temple. And then when she hit a certain age, she was sent away to live under the protection of the righteous Joseph. And it is in that context you see she's got a little spindle in her hand, or she's doing some spinning. That's because she was one of the temple virgins tasked with the role of weaving the veil, the temple veil. And so she's there weaving the veil, and that's the context in which, in the Gospel according to St. Luke, the Archangel Gabriel appears to her and says, "Hail, thou who art full of grace. The Lord is."
Okay, real quick. So just so you know, this is a later tradition that he's talking about. This is not from Luke. Okay, Mary was in the temple, virgin, weaving the veil, and all this other stuff. This is from the proto-evangelical of James, okay, the Gospel of James. This is an apocryphal text, or an outside the Bible text, okay? And he's pretending to you that it's like a historical event that happened and that it's like documented in Luke. It's absolutely 100% not, Pearl. It's from the 4th century. That's the earliest we have it. And he's like presenting it to you like, oh yeah, this is what Christians have always thought. So like, I don't know how, maybe I described that well. I don't know. Like, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, he's just lying to you about the church history.
So why do you think he's lying? Do you think it's because he hasn't done the work to like actually read all this stuff for himself and he's just repeating? Or do you think he just wants to be right? Like, what's your...
I think that in this guy's case, that this is what he's taught, and he's like regurgitating facts that he's learned from like Sunday school and like his scholarship and all the things that he's been into. And I think that he is given like an authentic representation of Eastern Orthodoxy. I definitely wouldn't say that he's like misrepresenting them and how they operate and how they use apocryphal texts to make their stuff. I definitely wouldn't say that. But what he's basically trying to do, and what the Orthodox Church in general does, it tries to paint this picture of like this everlasting one continuous line of a church all the way going back from Jesus to Peter and all the way through to them. And that is like a false history that is that exists only in their minds and only like that. That's just
Well,
not true.
I mean, for me, I've just interviewed so many devoutly religious people that are willing to read a lot more than I'm willing to read. And they all seem to think that their church is right, and they can't all be right. So it doesn't seem like it's as cut and dry as any of them are selling. So
The thing is, though, they're not reading. They're not reading. They're repeating what they're told from other people. Amalek actually reads. He actually reads all their stuff.
well, I wouldn't know if they're reading or not reading because I haven't read it. So I actually can't verify that any of you are reading. So I'm not going to vouch that.
Wow.
No offense.
I'm not reading because I'm not a Christian, but
Well, so
he is.
Yeah, but you don't know if he is or he isn't. No offense, Amalek. I just, I've interviewed guys just as intelligent as him that have different conclusions. But you seem good faith, but I just met you. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I get it. I'm not. I think that the problem is with like the whole reading and not reading thing. That's like built in. If you think about it, like the translations of the Bible and all these things, and the everyday person reading the Bible, it was mostly for the clergy for a very, very long time. You know what I mean? It wasn't like your peasants or anything like that were opening the Bible and reading from it. In fact, for a lot of history, like they were teaching or reading from the Bible outside of like the vulgar or the popular language of the time. You know what I mean? So people didn't even know what was in there. They were just kind of told what to do.
Yeah, that's kind of what I think. I don't know. Like it for me, whenever people make something complicated, just as I'm an interviewer, so this is just how I think. If it's really a complicated answer, you're usually lying or full of shit because usually the answer is kind of simple. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like those diet accounts when it's like they do these extreme, carnivore, vegan, whatever. It's like, well, and then you ask them, well, why did you pick that? And they have this convoluted. But if you hear work out more, eat less, that's pretty simple.
Yeah.
Stop eating carbs and sugar. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
If fitness or wellness tries to say anything besides a caloric intake, a caloric deficit, they're full of garbage. Oh yeah, but the body, blah blah. No, full of garbage. You're full of it.
Yeah, he's about to say something that's totally false. Get ready, Pearl. This is a super lie.
With you. And she opens herself up to God. And she says, yes. Now, there are lots of stories in the ancient world of gods impregnating women. In none of them was she ever consulted. In this story, she opens up herself to God. She conceives of the Holy Spirit. Her yes becomes the means through which all of us can be saved.
Okay, so he's basically giving like an ancient version of consent that is absolutely totally false. Jesus and the Mary story is that whole story. First of all, it's later than the Christianity. It's newer. First of all, second of all, the idea that Mary is the first woman that's ever slept with a god like Zeus or something like that gave her consent is ridiculous. I could point to probably 2,000 instances of God sleeping with women and the woman consented. So he's just like presenting this apologetic to you as if it's proof that Jesus is divine. You understand how crazy that is? It's totally false.
Dang.
There's thousands of stories like that of a woman meeting Achilles' mother and so many other heroes are birthed through consensual sex. I think it's Achilles' mother. So this is so stupid of a point to be like, oh, and we know Jesus is real because his mother was the first time that the woman consented. It's just totally false.
This is why we love her. And you'll see there's icons of her kind of all over the place, including back there in the back. Although you'll notice that with a couple of exceptions, pretty much every icon that you see of her will show her holding Christ in her arms. This type of icon right here is called the one who points the way. So what she's doing is she's presenting Christ to you and saying, he's the way. So the moment of the Annunciation in Luke chapter 2, and then the images kind of bounce around and we move through the life of Christ. So the question then becomes, how do we escape from the realm of death? Well, in order to do this, what Christ has to do is untwist that image of himself that has been twisted in us because of sin. So the way that he does this is to come and first of all, become a little tiny baby in Mary's womb, and then grow, and then she gives birth to him in the normal way. And at Christmas, he's born, and then he begins and he grows and he waits for 30 years, and then he begins his public ministry. And if you read the early apostolic fathers, so this is the generation of church fathers who lived right after the apostles in about the late 1st and the early 2nd century. The apostolic fathers talk about something they call the doctrine of recapitulation, which is to put a new head on something. Paul hints at this, St. Paul hints at this in the New Testament when he talks about saying, as under one Adam, we all died. So also under a new Adam, that is Christ, we will all be made again. We will all be made alive. For the first Adam was made a living being, but the second Adam is made a life-giving spirit. So Christ lives through all the stages, that is infancy, childhood, manhood. He lives through all the stages of human life. And in doing so, he takes each part of human experience and he joins it to himself. Now, there are some things about human experience which do not properly belong to us. One of them is suffering. One of them is death. So that's to say, you weren't made to suffer. You weren't made to die.
That's from the devil, basically.
Well, no, it's from sin. I mean, yes, the devil is involved, but the devil can't.
This whole idea that like we're living in a fallen world and we're all fallen people kind of idea, like this itself, I think is a huge problem too. But I want to find this part here where you said like you were in the manger scene. I think you said, Pearl, at one point in here, like you did that as a kid. The whole manger scene and birth narrative of Jesus is all late as well. Not 1st century, not in the earliest records. Paul has no idea of a birth narrative. So he's the earliest person writing about Jesus, basically, in the Bible. He's who wrote a huge portion of the Bible. He has no knowledge of a birth narrative, basically. So the wise 3 kings bringing frankincense and myrrh and like the manger scene that you're familiar with, that's all later gospel story. That's all later lore.
Okay.
All right, where's the
part we start going back and forth is right before I sit down about the marriage stuff. If that's what you're looking for.
On the part 2, you mean, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's on the part 2.
Oh, you're in part 1. Okay.
Yeah, this is on part 1. I had part 2 up too. Let me bring it up again.
You know what's crazy? There was a prostitute that said I was dressed like a slut for this image.
I saw so many of the Orthodox guys saying that about you, and it kind of blew my mind. Oh yeah, like Orthodox men are in her replies to her clips or to the clips that I'm saying that kind of stuff. It kind of blew my mind.
Well, to be honest, I kind of had the same thought when I sat down. I was like, this is a tall dress. You've got to be kidding me. Because I got that on American Tall, and I'm like, God damn it, I'm too fucking tall.
You gotta wear pants. You gotta wear pants for this, bro.
I've been trying to wear more dresses in my style, but it's like, you know what? The equivalent of me as a guy is a 6'7" dude.
Won't let her in if she tries to. So. She can't enter. Finally, she goes in front of the Mother of God, and she prays this amazing.
Actually, I want to get the right spot here. 1 second. Let me ask the AI. Take me to the timestamp. So we're not. What? It's like right here.
That had lived a crazy life.
But it's to live a life of repentance.
Oh.
And I think that women are just as capable of that as men.
Sorry, that was why. Because I was thinking if like
No,
she
it was
found a girl
before
like
that.
that had lived a.
It's what, like right here?
Yeah, it was earlier, the marriage stuff. It was like right when it was right before I sat down was when we started talking about it.
This monk named Zoe.
Oh, so you think it's right here?
You wouldn't throw away.
1 second. Let me bring up the thing again and ask it.
The family. He would say, this is what this is the direction we're going to go in as a family. So we're going to worship God together. This is how.
Is this what you mean in the beginning here when you talk about the
This is how we're
marriage?
going to raise our children, things like this. Now, in a healthy marriage,
Yeah,
he's not
that's
doing
what he
this
kept saying.
unilaterally.
In a health.
Because even Christ does not act like you.
Oh my God, this part is crazy.
Yeah.
How rude is this? How rude is this? Is one of the most rude things I've ever seen on
lead the family. He would say, this is
maybe he really knows
what,
the person. I don't know.
This is the direction we're going to go in as a family. So we're going to worship God together.
Oh,
This
it's his
is
wife. Okay.
how I want the house to look, this is how we're going to raise our children, things like this.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in a healthy marriage, he's not doing this unilaterally, because even Christ does not act, thank you, dear. Even Christ does not act in the world. Oh yeah, warm bottled water, that's my favorite. No, that's fine. So
Thank
Christ.
Pearl, did you see people talking about the blurring?
Yeah, or why? What did they say?
I'm not kidding you. I had people in my comments to my clips of your videos saying, did anyone not, is everyone just going to ignore the fact that a ghost walked across the screen?
No, we just try to blur out like family.
I know, but that's how dumb people are online, that they think it was
Yeah.
a ghost, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Like, what are they? They're literally like medieval peasants.
Yeah.
Christ doesn't even act towards the church in a unilateral way.
Mm-hmm.
He lets all these people get involved. Lets us get involved. Lets me get involved. Right? And so the relationship between Christ and the church is not just Christ sort of raining thunder down from on high, but it's commands given in love, protection given in love, and then to whatever extent we are the church, we embody those things and we actually participate in his work. It's the same thing in a healthy marriage, right? So in a healthy marriage, I've been married a long time now, so I don't usually have, there's certain things I just don't have to say, but also certain things I just don't think about because they're taken care of. It doesn't occur to me until, I have to, go on a business trip, so like, where's the next meal coming from and what will it be? Like, these are not things I have to think about. So that's the healthy thing that we'd want, right? Is cooperation together, right? Headship and love. Now, the unhealthy situation you're describing, that's when it's time to come together as a couple, come talk to your spiritual father. And
the spiritual father will tell her or him what?
Depends on the couple.
That's
laying out the.
That's where I was getting kind of annoyed because I'm like, it shouldn't depend. Like really, and
what's the difference between this and couple counseling? What's the difference between that and couple counseling? Seriously, what is the difference between them?
I wish that sometimes I think of stuff after because it really, again, if you're honest, it's pretty simple. Okay, if she cheated, this happens. There's got to be like 10 to 20. If you're counseling married people, there's got to be 10 to 20 problems that constantly come up. Like if you have a certain demographic, like nothing is new under the sun. There's a reason we have that phrase. So the fact that you can't give me specific answer, again, that's how I can tell someone's full of shit. Because if they don't give specific answers, like you have to be very specific. Otherwise, you're not really usually active. And it's kind of like a guy that says, oh, just get women, or a guy that's like a pickup guy where he says, okay, you have to approach her from the side because you don't want to scare her. You have to talk, like they can go into more details. They just don't say it. Like, it depends. What the fuck is that?
It's funny that saying, though, there's nothing new under the sun is actually a Bible verse. Did you know that? It's just become like a natural saying. Of us, and it's just a Bible verse.
Didn't know that.
Situation. So she keeps nagging him about chores and saying, you don't help me around the house.
Sure.
I have to do the mental load. You heard about that? Yeah,
I know what the words mean.
Yeah. So what's your answer?
It really depends on the couple. Like, hopefully these are both two people that I know, not me, I'm not a spiritual father, but let's say somebody is. And so they've been hearing these people's confession for years. They know what's going on with them, right? Well, could be that.
Do you think the liar is going to be honest in confession?
Oh my God! When he said that,
if you're a liar. I mean, I have a very narcissistic family member that comes to mind. This person, it doesn't matter if she's been confessing for years; she's gonna lie to the priest too. There's nothing you can do.
He said at one point, he said something like, "Oh yeah, people wouldn't lie. How it would be so hard for them to keep up the lie. They wouldn't be able to do it in the part one." And I just couldn't believe that's like so naive and ridiculous,
bruh.
And so we need to address that. Could be that there's some other pressure that's causing the nagging, and if we address the pressure, the nagging goes away, such as health issues. You need a little more help. Things like this, right? There's a lot of things a lot of things can be smoothed over in marriage if you just sort of.
Oh, honey, we gotta go see the spiritual father so he can let you know if you have a brain tumor that's making you nag me. Let's go. Come on. Like, what is he talking about?
Yeah.
Figure out, how much can you bear for each other, right? And so sometimes it's a helpful thing to say, okay, we need to get somebody to come in and help with the cleaning once a week. So, which is a normal thing, which most people in most periods of history have had somebody to do that, right? So there's a weird thing now, especially in kind of Christian circles, where if you have somebody who comes over and helps out a little bit, you sort of feel like you're like a failure as a wife or a failure as a mother and stuff like this. And so that's
so did he
so that might be
answer
one
to
thing.
get a cleaner? Like that's the answer.
Yeah.
Now he's got to pay for a cleaner.
He said that most people throughout history have had the opportunity to have people come in and help. Yeah, that's not true.
He's literally from the Eastern Orthodox Church. The majority of them are were literally peasants. Like,
Well,
what is he talking about?
and who is the help? It was the other kids that we're not having. It was like my grandma had 13 kids on the farm, so after like 5, the help was the kids. Like that's who helped. Okay.
Yeah, seriously though, what is the difference between this and like secular marriage counseling? Like I would argue like secular marriage counseling might have a higher percentage chance of actually working than whatever this is. Like this is like wishy-washy.
It's because
it's going to make the situation worse is the thing. So if you bring 2 people in a marriage that are already having like difficulties or there's something going on, and then you bring them into a situation where they're getting vague answers, and it's just going to piss them off more, and it's probably going to make it a higher propensity for divorce. Honestly,
you can't have a sexually inexperienced guy counseling other men because they're going to be manipulated. They're going to get dog walked by these women. Like they're not going to be able to see through women's bullshit. It's most men have to get burned before they take off the rose-colored glasses. So if you have a guy counseling that's never been burned, cooked, so cooked.
Adjust.
Can he just tell her to shut up, woman? Like, just shut up, woman. Is that okay?
nice ad, Amla. Good ad.
I grew up in religious communities. I think it'd be heaven on earth if more husbands told their wives to shut up.
Well, I would never talk to my wife in that way.
Okay, but is it immoral if a guy wants to?
See that?
No,
the answer is no. It's not immoral if a guy, she has the right to leave whenever she wants. If she doesn't like how he talks to her, she doesn't have to stay. But if you signed up for, it's incredible. These men are going to get tone policed in their own house.
Well, it's crazy that people are selling this as the answer. Oh, this is how you be real masculine. This is how you get a real wife. You go to the church and then you find your wife at the church and then like, what? Bruh, this is so stupid.
So cooked.
This is not going to work. And this, like, Andrew Wilson does this thing sometimes where he says, like, without religion, we won't have the birthrights. Without Eastern Orthodoxy, we won't have birthrights. And it's like, dude, they act like the Bible's like a Kama Sutra or something, like telling people how to breathe and how to behave with your wife and all these other things. Like, that's like totally divorced from reality. That's not accepting the modern world.
And nothing will make women want to have children. They're just not going to do it. They're just not. Not God, not the fate of society, not at all. Nothing.
I don't want to have kids. I like my money and I like my freedom, and I don't see a thing fucking wrong with it. You mentioning Andrew Wilson did remind me though. I'm like, I've been ignoring this member chat from Trendlin. You should ask Pearl to help you get a debate with Andrew. No, Trendlin. No, I don't think I will, but I appreciate you being a member of the channel. Thank you.
No, Andrew only wants to debate like tag and stuff like that. He doesn't want to debate like scholarship.
No, Andrew would never debate me.
I don't want you to get the idea that I think that women should have kids. I don't. I just hate this whole thing. Oh, yeah, somehow there's going to be a way that we're going to make women have. No, there's not. No, there isn't. I don't have kids. I don't want kids either. So, yeah, I'm right there with you. But this whole thing, oh, yeah, Christian values are going to make women want families. No, it's not, dude. Sorry.
Do you know what? What'll blackpill you, what'll convince you about that not all women should be mothers is body cam footage from police, because you see all these negligent mothers. Like, I just reacted to a video of this woman whose kid almost drowned because she was getting drunk at the bar. at the beach and not watching her kid. You're telling me that woman should have been a mother? Yeah, right.
Yeah, the idea that we just like let anybody have kids today in the way in like a complex society where your kid is now like the responsibility of the entire country. It's ridiculous.
And then honestly, I think they say that women are the nurturing gender. I don't think so. I think that men are. I think that men get joy out of kids, but women don't. I think that mothers write a check that a husband has to cash when he marries her, and then writes a check that the kids have to cash once they're born. Whereas fathers never ask anything from the children, but mothers will. That's why a football player.
That has not been my experience, if I'm being really honest.
I'm not talking about your experience, so I'm talking holistically.
Well, I don't know that I agree with your analysis on that based on many, many things. But okay, you're allowed to have an opinion. Whatever.
Yeah. Especially in my community, the Black community, like who are the worst mothers on planet Earth, by the way. Fathers know they have to sacrifice. They never need a break away from the children. Fathers get joy from children. Mothers don't. Mothers always figure out.
You're telling me that in the Black community, fathers are the ones who are sacrificing and nurturing their children?
Yes, 100%. 100%.
Correct. That's 100%.
Black mothers are the scum of the earth.
Dude.
Okay. Well, I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you about the mothers. I don't disagree with you about the mothers.
Your mom must have been terrible. Yeah, my mom was terrible too.
Yeah,
I don't
my
disagree
sister
with
was
you
a
about the
terrible
mothers.
mom.
I don't buy into the idea of Black fathers being nurturing and the emotional availability. I don't know.
It's because the mothers are so insufferable they leave.
Yep.
Literally, the mothers are abusive. Like they are completely negligent with their kids. A lot of times there's random men coming in and out of the house.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. 54% of Black men have no children, and it's about 80% of the Black mothers are getting pregnant by 17% of the men, and all those men are scumbags, and all the rest of us Black men have to.
So you're saying the men who are impregnating the women are scumbags, i.e., the fathers maybe not so nurturing.
Those aren't all the fathers, though.
But you're saying that most of the Black women are getting impregnated by the scumbags, which means they're probably not very nurturing, is all I'm saying.
What I'm saying is Black men are nurturing as a demographic.
Just not the majority of Black men who are impregnating the women.
Just not look.
You're saying the majority of the men who are impregnating the women are scumbags. Ergo, the majority of Black fathers are scumbags who are not nurturing. That's what you're saying.
No, listen to what I'm saying.
It is. I did.
No.
I did actually. Do you want to rephrase? Do you want to try it again?
Listen to what I'm saying.
If you think you came on to some dumb bitches, Shino, bro, you are mistaken. Repeat your point, and we'll evaluate
where's all this
your
smoke
logic.
coming from? You and I don't have to agree. You're not going to change my mind. I've been Black. You haven't.
Oh, we don't agree. We do not agree that Black fathers are nurturing.
Hey.
No, we do not agree. Sorry, no.
Okay. Well, Black mothers are the scum of the earth.
I agree with that. Black fathers are also not nurturing. Those are not mutually exclusive.
Okay. So that still doesn't go. That's my premise. Black mothers are even worse than Black fathers. Black fathers.
They both suck. I don't care who's worse. They're both fucking awful. Like, I don't care.
All of the negative outcomes come from Black single mothers raising terrible children. Period.
But you just said that 17% of the scumbag Black men impregnate the women and are horrible fathers. So they have all of a sudden the Black men who are scumbags impregnating the women have no responsibility here.
I didn't say that. But who's more responsible? The one who's raising the children.
You gotta let him finish if he's gonna make like he can't.
I don't actually. It's my
what are you
channel.
triggered for? You're not Black and you don't have kids. What are you triggered
right.
for?
I'm not Black. Thank God. Thank the good Lord.
Wait. Are you trying to tell me about my Black experience?
Oh, don't be a fucking leftist. Don't talk.
I'm asking you.
Channel,
I'm asking you.
Don't do that shit.
That's what it sounds like.
I'll
listen to you about it.
Are you criticizing my lived fucking experience? Are you serious?
Go ahead. I'll listen to you about it. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I am using your own logic, angry Black man. I'm using your own logic.
No, you're triggered because I said mothers are terrible and women always Yes, women always. You can say horrible things about fathers, but you can't say horrible things about mothers.
I
That's
think
what
you
this
can say
boils down
horrible
to.
things about both. I have said from the beginning it's both, but don't tell me that 17% of the black men impregnate the women, and those 17% are scumbags, and then say all black fathers are nurturing and fucking wonderful.
I
That
didn't
is
say
not
all.
true based on
You
your
added
own
that on
logic.
there. Did I say all? I never said all.
Did you say
You
that
said all.
17% of the scumbag black men impregnate the women?
I said 17%. I said black women choose the worst of us, which is 17%.
So
there are black fathers. The rest who have children are good men.
The stepdads that come in, baby.
Yeah.
You said the majority of the people who are impregnating the women are scumbags, bro. That's the majority. That's the holistic. That's what you said to me earlier. So let's go again by your own logic.
Okay. That still doesn't break my premise that black mothers are the scum of the earth.
They can both be bad.
You know what's funny? I call them
They can
scumbags,
both
but
be bad, actually.
But here's the thing: I don't blame them for leaving because no man should suffer a woman for his children. And black mothers are such terrible women that men should leave.
Then they are not nurturing. If they are leaving, they
But
are
the ones
not
that
good
aren't are
fathers.
nurturing.
Oh my god!
There's a woman in Atlanta who literally put her kid in an oven and cooked him to death. Yeah,
I'm so happy I don't have to deal with that stuff. It's awesome.
Thank God I'm not black and don't date black.
Oh yeah. You don't want any of this.
No,
Believe
I
me.
don't. No, absolutely.
You don't.
That's why I'm married.
I agree with you. I'm not trying to. One thing I don't do is try to defend black culture. I'll never do it.
Women are terrible parents, though. Like the date, it's so clear. It's when there's an infanticide, like a kid dies in the first year of life, it's never a man. The police don't even look for a guy.
Yep.
And we, like all the abuse stats where they say men are abusive, it's if a man abuses the kid, it's a stepdad. It's not the biological.
Yep. 75% of the time, the abuse towards children and the elderly is women. Anything that women are physically stronger than, that they abuse.
Yeah, so I agree with him. Men are the nurturing gender, because even when I look in day-to-day life, like women don't get joy from their kids. They always the black ones are the worst. They don't get joy from their kids. Where men, like the happiest guys I know are like camp counselors, teachers. They love like passing on knowledge to people, where women view it as like a burden. And if you listen to women talk, they say that. They admit it all the time. Like when you listen to like Mother's Day, mothers say they need a break from their kids, where fathers want to spend it with their kids.
Yep.
Even though we both work now.
Yeah. One of the reasons why I said, like, I don't have any children. I don't want to contribute to the terrible system that is what I'm talking about. And I'm just saying, like, we have women that want to get married but don't want to be wives, and we have too many women who want to have children but don't want to be mothers. And we've had this 50-year-long crusade against fathers to hold fathers accountable, and maybe we should have had that, but we've let mothers run amok. Most women, I asked them, who was the first person to say that? Because boys get it bad, but daughters get it even worse from their mothers. Who was the first person to say you're too tall, you're too short, you're too thin, you're too fat, your boobs are too big, you're a slut, you're a whore. It's your mom, not your dad.
No, that was my father when I was 4 years old, honey. So okay. That was my father when I was 4 years old.
You remember something he said to you when you were 4?
I do. I remember it very distinctly. I remember a lot of things. There's a lot of stuff I don't remember too, which leads me to believe that I blocked a lot of stuff out that happened. But I remember that.
Really? He just randomly called you a slut when you were 4?
He started calling me a bitch when I was 4 years old, and he reiterated that many, many times throughout my life. And probably one of the reasons I remember it. So I remember the room I was in. It was in the room my mother slept in. My father slept on the couch, and I was playing behind my mother's bed, and he came in and started yelling at me over something retarded. And then he started calling me a bitch. And then periodically throughout my childhood, as he was also insulting me and occasionally chasing me around the house with a knife, he would reiterate that he's been calling me a bitch since I was 4 years old. So those memories kind of stuck.
He chased you. Was he an alcoholic or something?
My father had a lot of issues. My mother had a lot of issues too. But
like, yeah, that sounds like he's on something.
Well,
kind of.
I was a kid, so why it happened didn't really interest me as much.
No, I meant how do I put it? Like, that's not really normal behavior. So I was just wondering if he was addicted to something.
I mean, I think that most people are, to be honest.
Okay, so what? Drugs, alcohol?
I'm not gonna go any further on this one, honestly.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. That's okay. You don't have to.
But I'm just saying, like, this idea that fathers are always nurturing. Listen, that may be the experience for some people. I certainly hope it is. They are not always the most nurturing. I'll tell you that.
Who's aborted an eighth of Gen Z? Isn't it?
I was aborted an eighth of Gen Z, a third of Gen Z.
Yeah. A third of Gen Z, not the fathers. Not the fathers.
I'm gonna play this clip because this is hilarious.
Okay.
Pearl, you're about to.
All right, I'm ready.
Rip this guy, I believe, or at least hold his feet to the fire, because this guy, I mean, he can't get a single argument out, from what I can tell. It's just
in a hypothetical situation, right? It's very hard to judge the intent of the heart, right? But when St. John Chrysostom, for instance, speaks about how should husbands treat their wives and speak to them, and how should wives treat their husbands and speak to them, in a healthy marriage, you wouldn't speak to each other in that way, nor would it ever be necessary.
Right, but that'd be healthy according to you, right? But like to him, he might think it's healthy.
But it's healthy according to Christ.
Right, but there could be a different interpretation of the Bible. Maybe he feels that he's allowed to talk that way. So, it's just because I'm just being honest, when it sounds like tone policing another guy. Like, that's kind of what it sounds like to me.
I'm not tone policing anybody.
It's the concept, right? Because like I keep hearing this, like it's if they're doing it in a healthy way.
No, I'm not. What I'm saying is, if I heard somebody speak to his wife in this way, I would assume that's not a healthy marriage.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be my assumption. But then I would say, I don't know what's going on. I hate to judge. Right. Those little checks that you have. But yeah, of course you shouldn't speak to your wife in that way.
Okay, so what happens if you and the husband disagree? Who should the wife listen to? Or it could be maybe a different church authority, but if the church authority says one thing and a husband says another, who should the wife listen to?
I like how you had to specify that you don't just mean him personally, because he keeps doing this thing where he's like, well, I'm just a little guy at the church. I just do little guy things, and I don't actually do the thing that you're talking about. It's so you obviously aren't talking about him in specific. You're asking about what his church does to prevent these problems that you're talking about.
And the answer should be simple if you know what you're teaching. Like, it should just be a simple. Why is this so complicated?
Oh, did the guy cheat on the girl? Okay, the guy's the problem. We'll talk about that. Maybe it's something we can't fix. Bing, bang, boom. Oh, did the girl cheat on the guy? Is there drugs? Was there someone? It's very easy generalizations you could make. It's like pulling teeth with them.
Yeah.
It depends on what the thing is. So I do really think there are certain things that as a couple, you get a spiritual father involved if you need help, but really, you have the authority within your own home as a couple to sort these things out, right? So I don't consult my priest on every purchase that I make or something like this. I don't constantly text them. I was thinking about buying a new Suburban. I don't know, what do you, unless I'm just talking to him as a friend, right?
Right, but okay, parenting style.
Yeah.
A common disagreement is men want to discipline. Women say that it's abusive or it's too much. It's X, Y, and Z. Maybe you agree with the wife when you hear it. Should he listen to you, or should she listen to you, or should she listen to her husband?
Well, again, nobody should listen to me except.
See, he just does it again.
Yeah. Authority to teach.
No one should listen to me.
She's not talking about you, just you personally, dude. She's talking about your church in general. What is going on?
You or another church authority. That's my question.
So if you're asking, we're having trouble with disciplining the children, and we're going to go to our priest and say, how do we handle this?
Correct.
And he tells us something.
He agrees with the woman. It's really just going back to the obedience question.
Right.
Because when it comes down to it, is she supposed to obey the husband or the priest or the church authority?
Ultimately, I should obey the priest.
Okay. So you would say she should listen to the priest?
Depends on the situation.
Bruh!
It's kind of like a workaround answer. And
I don't intend it that way. Like this is why I've tried to really make the point. All of this is contexted. And I'm never going to give you the answer that's going to satisfy you. Like I know that.
Yeah.
No.
I'm trying.
There actually would be an answer that would satisfy me. A real answer. The priest or the husband.
Yeah, who has the final authority?
Who you can't both. There's not two kings of a house. So whose choice is it? His, hers? You know what the other bullshit is? I hate it when people say that like couples, it's equal say, it's compromise. We all know that's not true. One person always wears the pants. If you know a couple, who is it? That's the question.
You guys remember when T.D. Jakes was telling all these women to not use his word and what he says in their homes against their husband? That was like right before the cough cloud. I think it was like 2019 or something like that. He was like, stop using my word and what I say in my sermons against your husband. He literally had to say that on different platforms because that was happening so often.
That's funny. Yeah, like I said, that was a very early trope in the church, was this idea of like the nagging wife at home, or the Christian wife and the pagan husband. That's not like a random occurrence. And it was people complaining about that whole thing. It's kind of interesting. Also, why can't he just isn't it interesting how all these like Orthodox people online, I don't know how much you guys interact with them or not, but they all have this idea that's like, oh, how can you make sense of morality without our church, without our tradition, without our Bible, without it's just grounded in ancient history and all this other ideas. This guy is they're so wishy-washy. They don't have anything. They don't have anything that's like more grounded than anything else.
Great point.
It's ridiculous.
That's a really good point, because all their answers are so convoluted. You're better just reading it yourself, which I'm not going to do.
Yeah.
Not anytime soon anyway. Maybe like when I'm a little older and I got a stream though,
Oh, if you do read it, from my experience, it's going to make you less religious. That's my personal take over my personal experience.
What made me less religious was the torch, the why. That's why I hate Christian e-girls, is because I grew up with women like that, because it's like they just beat the holier than thou. They beat your head with a Bible, just a bunch of bullshit.
To explain why that's the case.
And my biggest thing is
it's
we imbue these people with so much authority. Why? Carly, you have a PhD, right?
Yep.
I have multiple degrees myself. Like, I would rather listen to a person with a PhD than some pastor that has some just imbued authority. Like, whenever I've only been to church a couple times, when I see a pastor up there, I'm just like, who is this person and what are their qualifications? Like, I want to see their criminal record. I want to see all that. Like, who are these people? I always find myself asking, who is this person to be trying to tell me about life and what to do? And reading the Bible and having some kind of religious authority is just not enough for me. It's just not. Never has been.
I'll be the first to tell people don't believe a word I say. Look at the evidence. So I don't think anyone should really trust anyone, honestly.
That's how I feel too. Well, what's their authority for specifically the Eastern Orthodox Church, but also the Catholic Church does this, is they say that because they're the true apostle line, the line of the apostles all the way back to Peter, that because they have that authority, that's what gives them their authority on earth, basically, right? So it's literally the idea, and this is how medieval so this is how society is function. It's like divine rule by God. The king is selected by God. His authority comes from God. And how do we know what God wants and says? Well, it's the priest class that does that, right? So if you look at it that way, I mean, it makes kind of sense that we'd have this weird relationship with God and authority. And, well, why are we listening to the God, man, priest kind of thing? Well, that's how so much of the history, specifically for Europe, that's how so much of it was seen as, was your legal authority comes from what? It comes from God itself. And that's what we were trying to break from when we made America. Like, America is supposed to be breaking from that. You know what I mean? And people still want to do it even over here.
It's too hard to think for yourself.
Oh, yeah.
We don't deal with people in general, right? We deal with specific people, right? We deal with specific people. And one of the things that we believe in is the activity of the Holy Spirit in the church.
Right.
And that activity is revealed through different or diverse orders. So we have the bishops, or the authorities of the church. And then the bishops have their various charisms that they can delegate to people like presbyters, deacons, subdeacons, readers, etc. But also, within a family, there are also different charisms that are given. So I, as a faithful son of the church, at the end of the day, I should not do something without a blessing if it's not worthy of a blessing, right? And so there would be certain things that I would, before I did them, like, well, I'm not sure if this is the right thing to do or not, I better get a blessing, right? In the same way, in my relationship with my wife, right, I've been married long enough. I know what healthy marriage looks like. I know what I look like when I'm unhealthy.
People
I know what
say
my
a
family looks
healthy
like when
marriage.
we're unhealthy.
It just means I give my wife pretty much whatever she wants, and I simp to her emotions.
I just can't believe that anyone could possibly look at this and be like, oh yeah, that's way more based than the rest of the world. He is just doing like modern platitude that you'd see on any like sitcom or something, right? Like, what is going on? This is like the Modern Family answer to how to be a family, right?
Yeah.
Like, this isn't some crazy new thing, and he certainly isn't like pulling it from the Bible or anything like that. Or he's just basically saying like, oh yeah, you got to be part of our church and submit to our authority, and like we'll solve it. Trust us, bro. We have the power of the Holy Spirit in our church.
Well,
like,
and
that's what his answer is.
and they say it depends. Again, your religion. For me, as a non-religious person, it would make sense if it was simple. The Bible says X, Y. Well, what like then. Okay, the parenting style. Is it okay for the dad to hit the kids? Question. Some would say yes, some would say no, right? Disciplining. That's a disagreement. What does the Bible say? It's not, it depends. Well, blah, 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 blah. What does it depend on? You know, it's either okay or it's not okay. It's just
I mean, but that's even more evidence that this whole thing is designed to be a psyop, essentially. Christianity is a massive psyop just to control people.
I don't know. I think it's just women. Whenever women are in a group.
Women don't create Christianity. Women don't implement Christianity. They don't lead Christianity. That's all men.
Yeah, but they're men controlled by women. They're like usually sexually inexperienced. Because when you have a sexually inexperienced men, they just tend to be manipulated by women really easily and succumb to their emotions. And generally, that's what I see.
Do you have evidence of this happening within the Christian hierarchy?
My eyes.
What I would say, like the true part of what you're saying, Pearl, is I would say this. The idea in the Catholic Church that you're going to have celibate priests who do not marry and that they're going to receive confession from the wives of people over 2,000 years, over a long time, I could totally see how, basically like it's just like the women are leading the nose of the church through these effeminate men, right?
Well, think about this though. Think about this. In a home, a lot of the time, if the mother or the woman's having a bad day, everybody has to suffer. If the father's having a bad day, no one cares. But the mother, oh my God, mom is mad. Everyone. Father's Day, you get a tie and a pair of socks. Mother's Day, the whole world has to stop. It's the busiest restaurant day. And that's how, and most of these church guys are married and they live in that reality where the wife is the boss.
And women over-exaggerate. The issue you're going to get with confession is women tend to over-exaggerate things and paint themselves as victims. So if the priest is going to be the counselor and he's not he's not been in a relationship where he's had the experience of a woman completely gaslighting him or trying to ruin his life or doing these tactics. He's not really going to know what to look out for. He's not going to know what questions to ask when the woman starts giving him. I'll give you an example. There's a girl on my show who she said that her baby father threw her down the stairs. And on paper, right, most people will say, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I asked, well, can you tell me like what led up to the situation? And again, when people have nothing to hide, they just say it. So what she did was she said, well, it turned out when I asked her like 5 more questions, she was trespassing. So she went to his house, was arguing with him in front of his child because he was a single dad. And I guess ex-boyfriend, I think, but this was a while ago. But regardless, she was trespassing in his house, arguing with him and wouldn't leave. So he's not trying to throw her down the stairs like she made it seem. He was just trying to get this crazy bitch out of his house. But imagine if you're a priest and you say your first, because what happens is women say a sad story and everyone's afraid to ask questions. So that's the issue you're going to get with these guys. If they've never been the guy that's had that happen to them, how would they know to do that? They're not going to know. Unless maybe they had a crazy mother and learned it that way. Some guys do, but
all the priests are celebrant.
Yeah.
In the Catholic Church. Think about how crazy this is. It's not that we don't did they have experience with this or not? No. The rules are they must be celibate. It's like enforcing that. You know what I mean? It's enforcing that dynamic to happen. The inexperienced man telling the woman and the husband what to do.
That's why women don't like it when men sleep around, because when men become sexually experienced, they no longer can be manipulated as easy by women. And women, so sexually inexperienced men tend to be women's enforcers. So like they can just lie to them, they'll just believe it, and they'll just enforce whatever the woman wants, which in this case is a quote unquote healthy marriage, which is just going to mean he does whatever she wants, generally speaking.
And we were speaking to this gentleman who's a divorce attorney, and he said he's talking about the infantilization of women in society and in paternity court and divorce court, and how you can have these women that are strong and independent, but the courts will still infantilize you, and women will still use that to their advantage. Any opportunity where women can choose to be strong and independent, but still use infantilization to their advantage, they'll take it. Think about church. Oh yeah, her actions aren't virtuous, but she still can reap the benefits of having virtue in the church.
Yeah, all you got to do is put a Jesus cross, and you can even have your tits out and still get the virtue points.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's actually part of it's a requirement, right? You can't actually do the e-girl grifting unless you have the cross on. Like, is there an example? Are there many examples of them doing that without it? I can't think of any.
I don't think
Amy Dangerfield's doing it. Sarah Stock's doing it. Lauren Southern was doing it back in the day. I can't think of any of them that aren't like putting the cross on to do it. I think it's like a required uniform, basically.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm going to make decisions that are in the direction of health. In the case of this couple, if you have a good spiritual father, then he's going to steer the couple in the direction of health. And sometimes this will mean the wife needs to submit, and sometimes this will mean the husband needs to soften his heart. Mm-hmm. He needs to turn towards Christ, right? So that he can be the proper head of his family.
Also, turning towards Christ. Christ was also a virgin. Okay, so what are we doing here? So we're literally contemplating, talking to a virgin about our woman, and then we're contemplating and thinking about, how do we need to act? Well, we need to act like the other virgin. Like, what is going on? It's like 4 degrees of men idolizing virginity while trying to like manage their wife.
And plus, women punish men when they soften their hearts, so that's not going to go well for you.
Where she should listen to the priest and not her husband or the church father.
Yes.
Okay. Because
like hypothetically, such an instance could exist.
Because I think one deterrent a lot of people have from joining a church is that essentially the church, flawed people get authority over his home, when like so I was talking to someone I know that's an atheist, and he's one of like just morally the best people I know, where you'd think he'd be religious, right? And I meet guys like this all the time where
that should be impossible, right? Shouldn't that be impossible?
Dude, this guy is a great person, and I agree with him on nothing. He's like a far leftist, great person. Love him.
I constantly have people tell me that the reason I don't want to be Christian is because like I want to be degenerate, I want to be immoral, I want to be all these things, and it's crazy because they are every day proving how wrong that is, because they're constantly attacking each other, calling each other ridiculous names. Like if any of these people on Twitter, if any of these e-crusaders or any of these like fake Christians on Twitter had their Twitter exposed to their priest, it would be over. It would be done. They'd be saying 7 million Hail Marys.
No way. The priest wouldn't. Most of the priests are too weak to put their foot down or call out the congregation. They wouldn't do shit. You think this guy is going to do shit if he sees someone's Twitter account?
I guess I'm talking about a little bit more extreme Twitter accounts, like denying that Jesus is Jewish, or denying, or like praising Hitler, those sorts of Christians or whatever. They would be out of their church.
I doubt it. Sorry.
You think so?
They want to.
It actually happened. The Eastern Orthodox has kicked people out for being quote unquote Nazis when they find them.
Really? But they let porn stars in? That's incredible.
Yes. They kick out. Yeah, 100%. So porn stars are A-okay in Eastern Orthodox Church. Hey, Pearl, I know a trans person in a seminary in New York. That's in the Eastern. That's in Eastern Orthodox Christianity. Yeah, it's a trans person in New York City that's Eastern Orthodox, receives communion. Yeah. How crazy is that?
Right. Guys, I'm gonna bounce.
All right. Well, thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, the church is. My final thoughts are the church is cooked. The reason women like church is because they can be whores, say sorry, do no work, and still get to act like they're better than everyone else after. So, case closed. Doug MPA.
Final thoughts. Pros coming for all these different churches, so stay tuned and cover as much as you want, because you're just bringing people over to. We think this series is going to be a good one, so we're really glad you guys are out here covering it. So keep up the good work, y'all.
And I wish you guys would tell me your church is different, because I will show up.
I don't think we're going to get that argument from here around.
Yeah, Pearl, the interviews have been great. You guys, you should keep it up. And I think the religious angle and like people getting used to offending Christians, I think that's like in general good, because I think people have this idea that like, oh, I can't offend the Christians or then I'll be unable to be an influencer. And like, you're one of the rare influencers who are like at least willing to go there and be offensive or be, you don't want to hurt. You're not going to baby their feelings or anything like that. And so many, Elijah Schaefer and all these guys, that's what they're doing. They're basically like pandering to Christians. They don't want to upset or rock the boat. So, kudos to you at least for doing that.
Yeah. Do you know what? Actually, I'll tell this story a different day. All right. Thanks for having me, guys.
Have a good one.
See you guys.
All right, guys. Sorry, I totally changed the title of the stream today. I was gonna do Lauren Southern, but I was just having so much fun. So I do apologize, guys. I'm gonna do Lauren Southern probably tomorrow during the day. I just thought it'd be fun. I saw she invited me in the intro, and I was like, fuck it. All right, so maybe Lauren Southern tomorrow. This Sunday, I'm also going to another church. So, all right, guys, I love you. Thanks so much for watching. And I will see you next time.